Weren't you in that stream with Mister He Who Shall Not Be Named?
Um, well, that you're gonna have to do better than that.
Uh,
Oh, okay, all right.
All right, let's try this again. What's up, you heathens and demons? Yeah, we're just talking. We thought we were live. I'm like, oh shit, John, I don't think we're live. We're live now. What's up, guys? Hopefully everything is gonna be running good. It looks like I have a strong connection. It's John's birthday, so the link will start spamming in the chat soon. I got a little surprise for John. He doesn't know it yet. I don't even know if he's seen it, but I figured that this would be a hilarious thing to really start out with. We're only going to be able to have 4 people in the room. We will be renewing the StreamYard thing soon, but tonight we can only have 4 people in the room. We'll be able to have 4 people backstage, but right now, very briefly, on the basic plan. So only 4. What up, John?
Hey, what's up? 57 years young today. Hoping for 57 more. And then by the time I get 57 more, I hope the robot bodies are ready by then. Yeah, and thanks for wishing me well in your earlier stream today, Dumb and Dumber, the perfect title for that stream earlier today, because it was Matt Powell and Kent Hovind, and they were doing the Bopsy twins thing. They both had the same Hawaiian shirt on, which was kind of cute, you know.
Yeah.
I was waiting for them to turn to one another and start making out the whole time.
I wonder if like Matt's dad got jelly during that recording.
Yeah, he might have. I thought that was an interesting little thing there. It must be Matt's gallivanting all over the country, you know, seeing all his horrible fundamentalist Christian buddies. But so just woke up from a nap. Old guy that I am, had a big meal earlier today, to celebrate my birthday, and that put me to sleep for a couple hours. So I'm raring to go.
I wish I had taken a nap. I laid down for about an hour, but I couldn't get to sleep, and low energy today. But I'm gonna pep up. I will turn on the timer here in a moment. We'll get some people in here, and we'll throw the link in the side chat. But I don't know. Have you seen the video of the Twisted Tea? Do you know what I'm talking about?
I've heard people like I saw you and Leo referencing that, because Leo was saying something about that, and then you were, because he was mentioning pussy or something, and you were like telling him, "Hey, dude, like women don't want to hear that."
All right, so yeah, that's something different. So the Twisted Tea. All right, so to preface this, and when I get to the share screen thing, it's all jacked up, so people won't actually be able to see you, but they will still be able to hear you. But you should be able to see it, even though it'll echo. This is fucking hilarious. So to preface this, you remember the conversation that I had with Smokey about the usage of the N-word, and he wants to be able to use the N-word, and I was pretty much like, dude, you can use the N-word, but there's consequences to that. So, right? Like, that's my position. Like, yeah, you go around saying the N-word all you want, but you're going to face the consequences of that action. It might be getting your ass beat. It might be a bunch of lefties canceling you. Whatever consequence you're going to face, So this has gone viral now, and if you haven't seen it, it's going to be hilarious for you. And I know, like, some in the side chat might say, like, I'm promoting violence here. And to you, I would say you're probably right, but I don't care because I find it funny. Because you shouldn't go around saying the N-word. You just shouldn't. You shouldn't be so entitled that you think you can go around saying the N-word, right? So let me share my screen, John. It's only a couple minutes long. This is absolutely hilarious. I can't believe you haven't seen it yet. Voss just covered it on his live stream. So if you haven't seen this, this is something. So let me get it to the right. Here we go. So yeah, they can't see you, John, but they can hear you. I'm going to start playing it now.
Fuck your mother. He's gonna pop him. I live on 400 Oxford Avenue, 2 blocks away. And you know what's crazy? You know what's crazy? I'm gonna walk to you. I'm gonna walk right to my house for you, bro. Oh God, I'm not trying to disrespect you, bro. I'm not. I'm gonna say nigga all day, every day.
So, I'm not trying to disrespect you, but I'm gonna sit here and say the N-word all day. No, he's clearly drunk, John, and I know it's echoing, so I'm not gonna talk much. We'll get through it, and then I'll turn it off. He's clearly drunk, but that's no excuse. And in fact, that's what I'm speaking about, like the privilege, the entitlement. No, you don't get to say this word.
Are you kidding me? Where you from, nigga? Where you from?
He's
Where
gonna
you
pop
from?
him.
Where the fuck you from?
I'm actually having to watch
You
it
from
on my
here?
phone to be able to hear it.
Oh, really?
But that's okay because after I watched the first 30 seconds of it, I have seen this. Now I know.
All right. So, I mean, this is hilarious.
Get the fuck out of here. You a clown, nigga. Oh, God, you a clown, nigga. You from here? You a clown. What, you gonna smack me with that? Smack me. Smack me. Smack me, nigga. Come on, get it. Drop it.
Yeah, you got yours, buddy.
Call me another fucking nigga. I don't give a fuck. Hey, man, you got...
So, and I'm showing that just to make that point, because I've had this conversation with quite a few people now, and they think, you know, the P. Mars of the world think that they're going to just be able to say this word and there's no consequences to that. And I'm like, no, you're not going to be able to just go around saying this word. There are consequences to that. And I thought, you know, this is going viral right now. And I'm like, this is exactly that conversation that I had with Smokey, with P. Mars, with several other people, personified and evidence of what I'm saying.
Well, and the funny thing is, like when you had that up and I couldn't hear the screen share, it wasn't coming back through my mic too. So
that's, you know, I probably didn't click the little button there. So I wonder, you know.
Well, right, as far as like being able to hear it, I could see it on the screen here in StreamYard, but because I couldn't hear it, the time I spoke, well, you had stopped it. But I did.
So I mean, it appears like they heard it in the as long as the
right. It was going through the stream for sure because I turned my phone up and I was able to listen to it. But yeah, I saw this clip somewhere. I must have seen it off of YouTube or something, and I didn't even put it. Yeah, I didn't even put it together when Leo tweeted about it and referenced Twisted Tea, and I was just like, because he had said something in there about, I'm gonna bang your pussy like Twisted Tea or something like that. And that's when you stepped in and said, yeah, Leo, like, you know, and Leo was like, yeah, but this is Twitter, and and you're like, yeah, but you know, whatever.
Well, yeah, and I was kind of giving him a hard time about it, and I hope, you know, I was just kind of busting his balls, so hopefully he didn't take it like I was coming down on him. But yeah,
just
like it's
all kinds of fucking buttons here.
Yeah.
But so just real quick, I want to go through and say hello to everybody. A lot of people have been saying happy birthday. Richard Matson's here, and he says hello. Lisa for Truth, she just popped in the room here. And who else? The Sassy Heathen is here. John Petersen, happy birthday, she says. Ox wants to know if there's cake. No, there's no cake, but I had pie earlier. And who else we got here? Man, Lisa and Ox were going back and forth all by themselves there for a while. Maynard Saves says, happy birthday, Donkey Brains. Thank you for that, Maynard. And that was the one good thing about Knock not realizing that we weren't live yet, because he played the Smokey Saint intro at the beginning, and we didn't have to hear that the second time.
Well, you didn't hear it, but they did. I only played a very brief moment of it though.
Okay. Because I was going to say, if Knock wanted to give me anything for my birthday, it would be he could get rid of that intro for the show from now on.
I love how it started, like that whole I'm not banging boys in the butt thing. I love that, man.
Yeah, maybe get rid of everything except for that. Yeah, we got to keep that. I'm not banging boys in the butt. And then let's see. I'm still going. I know there's other people here, but I can't find them. Woolly Ignorant and Richard Madsen says again, happy birthday. Geo Sam's here. He puts a cake emoji in there for me. Ronan Kanushi, how you doing, man? And I'm still Streamlabs is here. That's fucking Streamlabs. They're always here for some reason. Ann Kennedy, thank you so much. She says happy birthday. Native Atheist says happy birthday. Thank you so much. Athena, goddess of wisdom and warfare. Oh, wait, that's midnight. Says happy birthday. Joe. Johh, whoever the fuck that is. Coffee's here, so we know that there's at least one person tripping at my birthday stream. And let's see who else. Oh, Mass Pig's in the house. He says, what do I walk into? Well, you walked into an old man. 57 years old today is what you walked into. It Chick Hunt. I'm not sure if I said that right. It Chick Hunt. At least their name is not Mike Hunt. But Red Fang is here. Fuck P Mars, he says. I've said before I would hate fuck P Mars. But
you have several times.
Flow State's here. He says happy birthday, Big JP. Paul Kamish says happy birthday. Chris Foster. And Chris Foster. Who else? If I missed anybody, we'll catch up with you later. James Hogue. And we got a couple people in the room here already. Tioga. Hello, Tioga. Mama Atheist is here. Holy shit, man. Everybody's here. And I think I got everybody. Thank you for being here. And we can, just like any of the open streams, we can talk about whatever you guys want to talk about.
I'd like to start. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, John Petersen.
I would sing with you, but
birthday to
I'll spare the audience.
Ooh, many happy returns.
Thank you, Ronan.
You're welcome.
Happy birthday, horse.
The bad thing about that is I will never be able to unhear that.
I want to start it off with something from Vice Torino's channel, if you don't mind. Knock, he's doing the review of Matt Powell's new so-called movie.
Yeah.
And
we lost Ronan or somebody.
And this is funny. This is absolutely positively funny. So I got to read this for you. So one of the fundies was saying, well, he did a little research on this, and it's talking about the monkeys coming to South America via vegetation rafts.
Yeah, we talked about that quite a bit here.
And David H. says the research probably consisted of this. Google, how fast do canoes move? The average speed of a canoe is 3 mph. Google, how far apart are Africa and South America? At their closest, Africa and South America are 1,600 miles apart. Google, what is 1,600 divided by 3? 533.33. Google, what is 533.33 divided by 24? 22.22. So about 22 days at modern distances and average paddling speed. Hey, wait a minute. Replays the video. From the video, it would take you a minimum of 65 days of rowing. Is that new math or something?
Well, I don't know, and you also have to take into account that the distance would have been actually a lot less. The ocean would have been narrower,
exactly.
Yeah, it would probably be more like you're talking, just a general drift.
mean,
A trip of maybe 16 to 18 days.
Well, and I gotta say though, like there might not even had to have been any paddling, and there wouldn't have really been any paddling. It was just
of course, and they make it sound like the monkeys intentionally got on a
right.
and I'm like, what?
But here's the other part of it though, is that I can't. And I'm just saying this to be funny. I'm not picking on you, but I'm a little surprised, Lisa, at your incredulity at Matt not being good at math.
Well,
wow, John.
I'm sorry. I can see him being stupid at algebra and higher. I can see him being stupid at algebra and higher level math, but this is just plain old arithmetic.
Well, yeah, and he tries to make it sound like it's something that is impossible, when in fact this is something that like has happened several times throughout history. Like this wasn't the only event like this. You're talking about the world was a lot more unstable. Often there would be very vast, massive earthquakes and tsunamis that would break off chunks of coastline, and this was something that happened quite a bit more than you would think, and we've documented it several times in the fossil record alone, and that's just in the fossil record. I mean, think about how many times that happened that shit didn't get fossilized.
Well, and I think Knock alluded to this one time when we were talking about it on stream, is that you would think that somebody like Matt Powell would embrace such a hypothesis as this, okay? Because that's the only way to explain like how kangaroos got to Australia after the flood. I mean, that how did the penguins get to the South Pole?
Come on, Horace. Everybody knows they hitched a ride on a volcano.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Well, I was thinking they probably used the same meteor that the octopus used.
No, Bukkake.
And real quick, my thanks to Ronan Kanushi, who apparently came in here just to sing me happy birthday and then left.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess most people do run away after a crime.
Happy birthday, John.
We do have one spot open, but again, unfortunately, we can't have 10 tonight. That will be changed next week. It'll
be changed by this time tomorrow. Yes. I get paid tomorrow, and I'm going to buy a year's worth.
Yeah, John is actually paying for the StreamYard, and he's getting the whole year. Nice. Yeah, and it looks like help is on the way. From what I'm reading, direct deposits for at least the 600 started going out last night. The checks, from what I'm reading, Mnuchin said they're sending the paper checks out today. So it looks like they're really pushing things out. So things should be getting better for everybody. In regards to Matt Powell, like I think John is probably the only one that's seen it so far. But I have a new video coming out to where I go more in depth on this particular argument. Who did we lose? We just lost Midnight. I go a lot more in depth on this particular argument. I pull up articles on the science. He's talking about this thing called what was it? Logic. I can't even remember what he called it, but it's essentially that fossils, bigger fossils go to the bottom. It's a really weird thing that's been thoroughly debunked.
Oh, hydrological sorting.
Yeah, hydrological sorting. Yeah, that's it exactly. So I am going a lot more in depth on this argument because everything Matt Powell says about it is a complete fabrication and lie, and meant to make something that's actually very normal, very rational. I mean, you would have to predict this happening throughout history. So it's very it's just nothing. There's no there here on this, and it's just completely ridiculous. The things
basically what their claim is that since certain things are bigger than other things or denser than other things, that had there been a worldwide flood, all of the densest things would have, been at the bottom layer, and that's how all the strata were made because of the flood. And then Knock went through and he said, no, because these were found in this strata and these different things were found in that strata. So even by their own hypothesis, it's not the way they're trying to make it sound. They're trying to make it sound.
Exactly. And about this nonsense about hydrologic sorting, then why don't we find any bunnies in the Precambrian period? And of course, I know they don't accept the Precambrian period, but that's just nuts.
Yeah, he's latching on to another instance.
And thanks for stopping by, Midnight. I don't know what we said to what.
Well, I said I had muted myself on the stream.
But thanks for stopping by. I see Dr. Josh showed up. Mutable Destiny's here. Come on in, guys. The link just posted. I don't know. Like the one that he said that I'm me and maybe just the people on Patreon have seen so far.
It's not on Patreon yet. I am going to put it on today.
Oh, okay. That one is just. I mean, I didn't even finish watching it. I ended up going and eating, and then I came back and I took a nap after I ate. But it's just so precious, Matt is actually in the place where Kent Hovind lives. I can't remember where that is. I think it's where Knock used to live.
Somewhere in southern Alabama.
Yeah, it's in Alabama. Yeah.
And they're sitting there on camera with one another. They both have the same Hawaiian shirt on.
That's a dapper fucking shirt, by the way.
Oh, yeah. The Bobbsey twins.
I was going to buy Rage one because I found it on eBay, but he didn't tell me his size on time. So,
yeah, you got to get a big one if you're going to get it for Knock. You got to get a big one.
No, you got to get a small one because I'm losing weight. I'm gonna lose. I'm gonna be back to 23-year-old Knock again here in 6 months. So.
Well, so look, I'm on the plan myself, but I got to tell you. Dude, you're 6'5". I don't care how skinny you get, you still need the big shirt.
Well, yeah,
Damn,
I've always been thin, but I've always been tall and thin, but I've never been a tall, skinny dude. I've always had, some muscle on me, and that comes from like playing football when I started playing football in 4th grade all the way through high school, so I was always in the weight room. But yeah, I'm a huge
showed up. Thank you for the happy birthday, Jay. Otangelo Grasso's here, and he says happy birthday. Appreciate that, Otangelo. For my birthday, Otangelo, why don't you come in here and give me your model for creation over, because we're still waiting in the email thread. On Gmail for you or any of the other creationists to provide a model for that. That would be a hell of a birthday present.
Yeah.
Don't everybody fucking talk all at once now.
Well, yeah, nobody's. Usually people are itching at the bit to get into the room, so I'm not sure what's going on.
Right. I mean, there isn't anything different about this than any other stream.
We're not talking religion, really. I mean, we're kind of talking about Matt Powell, and people they want that religion talk. But like, I'm not really in the. I'm sure I could get there if Otangelo comes in. That would be great. I always love talking to a Christian or any Christian. I could get there, but like my mind is all in politics right now, and I can't help that. And I don't like talking about that on stream, so I'm not trying to go there. But that's just where my mind is.
I'm not trying to go there.
Yeah, that's where my mind
January
is.
January 20th can't come soon enough.
And it's more concerned like my OCD and paying rent on time. If I don't pay rent on time, it's just gonna go crazy in my brain. So just waiting on money to get here is a huge thing. But, and even more than that, I can't wait to get back to work. It'll be full-time work. Sure, it's only 50% capacity. We're not at 100%, but it's still full-time work that I'm not going to be stuck in this fucking apartment 24/7. It's driving me nuts.
Yeah. Yeah, don't blame me there. But what's this to do a face-off? Nobody's got the sack to do a face-off with John, Ox says. Thank you. Yeah, Ox also says that we need, just like Matt and Kent, we need matching shirts and hats.
Yeah, like I think I could totally rock that orange Hawaiian shirt that they were rocking.
They had a whole variety.
Yeah.
There's a whole world of Hawaiian shirts on eBay.
I swear Kent went to the Goodwill store and bought every Hawaiian shirt that the Goodwill store had.
Yeah, James Hogue. I definitely want to give Biden props for that. First Native American to serve on an administrative on an American president's cabinet. That's a great honor, and I'm going to give him props for that. Now we'll see what he does for Native American issues, but I'm sure having her on the cabinet is going to go a long way towards maybe getting some shit done.
I know.
Lisa, I just need to point out that Kent Hovind has never paid for anything himself for like 30 years.
Well, yeah, he was complaining about that, like about the 500 meal thing, because I didn't cover that in the stream this morning. It was before Matt came on, and I started it when Matt came on. But yeah, he was complaining like, because it's 500 meals a week. I gotta pay for, to run this place, blah blah blah, and water, and it's like, dude, you didn't pay for that shit.
Right, all the rubes that you fucking grift from, they're the ones that are paying for that. Fucking Ken Hovind, man.
I mean, it's just like I'm gonna. I'll be right back, John. So y'all talk.
Right. I mean, yeah. Hey, Jay, come on in here. Dr. Josh, come on in, man. We can talk about whatever you guys want to talk about. Yeah. I mean, these grifters, man. Like the ones that, what's the one crazy dude? Kenneth Copeland and. Jesse Duplantis and
White.
Yeah, give me all this money. I need a new jet. And there's idiots out there that send them the money and they get their new jet or whatever the hell it is they want.
Yeah, and the sad thing about it is, I was watching Cult of Dusty, and he was doing his religious bullshit. And there was this guy that was in a coffin, okay? And I am not kidding you. They were supposed to be showing this pastor raising this guy from the dead. This guy was moving inside the coffin. I'm like, what the fuck?
Well, that was just the love of the Lord that had him shaking,
Why haven't we gotten in on this hustle? That's what I want to know.
Because we're honest.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, me and Knock jokingly have talked about this before. It's like, yeah, that's what we should do is we'll just all of a sudden we'll come out and be like, you know what? We believe now. And
oh, dude, if I totally totally came out and pretended to be a Christian now, yeah, I'm converted, I'm a Christian now. I bet you I'd be at 60,000 subscribers in a month.
Yeah, you kill it. You kill it,
That would be a miracle of a conversion story.
Yeah, it would. Jefferson Spatchcock, come on in here, man. Come on. We need a couple more people in here. It's so funny because when we have the capacity for 10, when the paid version's here, we got people trying to get in and there's not spots open. Now we have a night here where we can only have 6 in the room at a time and nobody's fucking, except for a couple people, which I'm glad to have. You'd think that me and Knock were thinking that we were going to have to rotate people in and out tonight since there's only 6 spots, but that hasn't happened so far.
I thought this was Jordan Peterson's birthday stream for an embarrassingly long time.
Jordan Peterson. I find myself actually defending the man for the first time in my life.
I kind of like him, but I just, when I saw the YouTube video, I just kind of quick skimmed it and was like, oh, Jordan Peterson's birthday.
Yeah, I despise the man. I despise him, but people are being dicks to him about his drug addiction and just being total garbage to him. I'm like, there's plenty of reasons not to like Jordan Peterson. His drug addiction isn't one of those reasons.
I almost made a video about that.
Drug addiction is a disease.
Yeah.
Drug addiction is a disease just like anything else.
Yeah.
But I wanted to ask you guys something and get your opinion on something. And I'm not trying to do a no true Scotsman fallacy. I just want to say that up front. But when people say they were quote unquote atheists and they converted to Christianity, do you think they were really atheists or perhaps just non-religious?
I definitely think that there are some that were really quote unquote atheist, but I think that a requirement for this, like, because I just can't imagine it, would be just a lot of latent Christianity left. That, you know, they never quite gave up that fear of hell, or even quite came to the conclusion that you know, it was all fake, even though their brain probably tells them it is, but they were never able to get past that indoctrination. So I think that that's possible, but I think that the vast majority of these so-called atheists that go back to Christianity or go back to any religion, really, I don't think that they really were atheist ever. I think a lot of them are Christians, and this is like it's a stick. It's a way to I don't know, bring extra views to your channel or whatever, get yourself out there more. But I definitely think that it does happen. I don't think it's as rampant as it seems to be.
Do you consider Buddhism a religion?
Depends on how you practice it. It depends really on how you see the Buddha, and all of that. If you believe in the reincarnation aspects of Buddhism, then sure. But it can be very atheistic, without a doubt. I practiced a form of Buddhism that was atheistic. It's how I kind of led into being an atheist. I also practice Zen, which is very atheistic if you want it to be.
I like Zen, from what I know,
as well as Tao. I practiced the Tao for about a year.
Well, in one of our latest episodes of the Apostate Alliance, we talked to Taisei, I believe it was, that's a former Buddhist.
Yeah, I never got into it like Tent is. Like, Tent definitely knows his shit. To me, Buddhism was smoking weed and meditating and not being a Christian anymore. You know?
So, so I said, hey, Otangelo, come on in here and give us your model for creationism. And his response to that challenge was to post, he's saying he is going to come in. Yeah, come on in, Otangelo. But he had posted before that I should get a shirt that says Jesus loves you.
Yeah, I thought about buying some G-Man merch. Like, you know, where does he get those fucking hats at? That's what I want to know. Because I want to.
CJ's here. He said happy birthday to me. Thanks, CJ.
I want a I love Jesus hat. That's what I really want.
Hey, Horace, I hope you don't mind me calling you Horace. It's an affectionate nickname because of your avatar.
I call him
Horseface. Right. Yeah, a lot of
people
people call me Horseface, Donkey Brains. That's what.
Yeah, Smokey can't understand why we embrace these things. Like, he thinks it's the dumbest thing in the world, and I'm like, dude, you have, for one, no self humor. There's no way that Smokey looks at himself and laughs ever, right?
Why he's so cringy.
But like, yeah, I mean, I've always done that. Like, I get names from Christians, like in emails, DMs, whatever. And let me get Otangelo on the screen. And then, like, I'll change my Twitter handle to whatever nickname that they're giving at me. So I've been the ghetto atheist. I've been the trash clown. I've been so many different names on Twitter that because I always change my name to whatever the Christians are calling me at the moment.
I mean, at least I would prefer it if you. I would say, except for the fact that you've made us aware of the fact that you are asexual, or else I would ask you to call me Horse Cock.
Yeah.
I was noticing that you hadn't brought that up. I didn't want to be the one to call it out.
Yeah,
but I think that's where I would have started.
Right.
I mean, as a Sagittarius, that is where I start.
Well, and I would have to assume that we all know that, you know, you're white, so that's some wishful thinking there.
Yeah, that wasn't racist at all.
I'm just saying, white people got small peepees.
Better fuck him to prove a point.
That's why I'm glad I have Native American blood.
I know it's a bit too early, but can I just say, fair fucking well to 2020?
Sure, yeah. I mean, like, it does seem to be dragging on. Like, it should be January 1st by now. Like, already. Like, come the fuck on.
And I don't know if anybody saw on Twitter today, but GE and Caitlin just got tested positive for COVID. And our best wishes to them. And
Yeah, I heard that.
hold on, let me finish my sentence first, Lisa. And GE tweeted out that they were at the doctor, getting seen for it and getting their prescriptions, for whatever it is you take when you have that. And I guess the doctor had said to GE, well, God gave us an immune system for a reason.
Oh,
and
no.
and fucking, then people were commenting, and one person said quite astutely, "Well, maybe he has seen you on YouTube and knows you're an atheist. Wonder if he said that just because he knew you were an atheist."
Oh, and probably not though, because it speaks to this society we live in here in America. It's just you can't really escape it. I remember, so many times I've been to the doctor, and you look and they have like this poster up or this whiteboard, and somebody will have written, make sure to pray, or God is watching. It's the society we live in. It's everywhere. It's adamant, and you can't fucking escape it.
Actually,
oh, sorry. Go ahead, Lisa.
Oh, sorry. They actually did a study. They did not finish it. I'll put that caveat out there right now. They did not finish it, but for a very good reason. They went into hospitals and randomly divided people into patients into a pray category and a not pray category. And then praying, but the patient doesn't know that people are praying for them. And they found that the people who, the patients who knew that people were praying for them, some of them actually got worse. And that's why they stopped the study. And they think it has something to do with stress, but they're not sure. But it's definitely a placebo.
Yeah, well, yeah, I've definitely seen studies where you see a placebo effect occur with prayer, and I know a lot of Christians will latch onto those studies and see, hey, prayer works, and it's like, no, it's just the way the mind works.
Leo, you got some kind of playback coming through.
Oh, that's probably my South Park. I'm sorry.
Man, you just like the South Park kid, man. See, here's the thing. What I've said about
I'm sorry. I'm cool.
No, but what I was saying is like, and I've thought for a long time, like, okay, like with the faith healing shit, okay, that it's all bullshit. Okay, it's all bullshit. But I still hold the possibility that, okay, because we still don't know everything about everything. We still don't know all the abilities of the human mind. I hold out the idea that perhaps there is something to the idea that if you're in a football stadium and 20,000 people are all concentrating on you, that maybe there's some power of the brain that we don't understand, that, because there's, of course, there's electricity running through. I mean, I don't know. But yeah, no preacher ever laid their hands on somebody, and that was why they, were healed of whatever they did. Most of the time, it's somebody that doesn't even have anything wrong with them. It's a put-up job, or it's somebody that's a sycophant that, just rolls with it and pretends like they were healed or whatever. But I still say maybe there's a possibility that if like 20,000 human beings are all concentrating on one thing at once, that maybe there's something to that.
I don't know. I don't know about that. But I definitely. Well, I don't know about that. Like, I need some like clear evidence for me to really go there. But like when it comes to like the power of the mind to be able to heal the individual body, I think that is something that we truly don't really know yet. I think that there are recorded instances of using the
define
mind,
heal.
Well, using the mind to cure diseases and shit like that. But I'm not sure how
define disease.
Yeah, well, I'm not sure how true any of that is. I would need to see it in order to really believe any of it.
Like if you get cancer and you just like think hard enough, your cancer is not gonna go away.
Yeah, well, yeah,
But I
and
mean,
that's
you
what I'm
can't
saying.
see-
But there's stories to where they put out stories to where it will go away. You know, if you envision in your mind like some kind of like fighter dropping bombs on your cancer in your body, they put that forward, and I don't put any stock in it, but. Fuck, I don't know. Maybe it's possible that there is some healing element of the mind that we haven't tapped yet. I'm not going to make that claim. If for me to believe it, I would have to see it in action, right? So,
Did you ever do visualizations when you played sports?
Oh,
like
hell yeah,
before
all
a
the
game?
time. Yeah, all the time.
It's the same thing.
Yeah, well, yeah, and I definitely think that visualizing something goes a long way towards making that thing happen. But when it comes to like when you're talking about like healing yourself, I don't, I would need to see that.
Are you talking about the law of attraction? Like if you just like believe that it's going to happen hard enough, then it will.
Power of intention.
No. See, I don't think. I mean, I believe that I was the best writer in the world, and I have yet to publish a single fucking book, right? So.
I think it has. I think of visualization as you visualizing the steps you need to take before you take them.
That's what flow state's referring to in football. That's kind of what you do. You envision the play. You envision all the different scenarios that can happen within the play. That way, you're mentally prepared to react in different ways for any given situation. So, I mean, it's something that they really promote in football. Yeah.
That is not new. Like, go talk to anybody who's a master in. And I don't know if master's the right word, but like somebody who's very, very skilled in like karate or martial arts, and they'll tell you when you go into a fight, you like, and I learned this from an old Marine who is one of the baddest motherfuckers I've ever met in my life. He said when he goes into a fight, he said, obviously I don't know how it's going to play out, but I imagine a bunch of different scenarios of how it could or how it's most likely to play out so that I'm prepared. I know what moves I'm going to do when certain things happen. So he said, and he played chess. He's a very skilled chess player. He said, I learned that from chess, being those, however many steps ahead of your opponent so that you know what's coming and you could be prepared for it and you know how to react in a good way.
Yeah.
Can you just can you turn the gain on your mic down just a little bit?
I don't know what gain means.
Yeah, I don't think you can do it with those mics anyway, John.
Oh, okay.
Is it coming through too loud?
Well, no, it's not necessarily. Yeah, it's kind of a little loud, but I mean,
how about now?
Grading on the curve with everybody else, it's like much louder than everybody else.
Okay. How about now?
See, nobody ever tells me when I'm.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I just turned the volume down on it in StreamYard. So
that's basically what I meant when I said gain. I mean, I don't know where I picked that up.
I don't know what the technical terms mean.
The only reason I said that word is from hearing other people use it. I honestly don't know what the fuck it means either. So I just know that it has to do with the volume.
It's in Premiere, a lot of us use Adobe Premiere, and you can turn up your audio gains and Adobe Premiere. So that's like, John, when I tell you like I'm going to run it through Adobe and I'm going to turn it up, I'm turning up the gain.
Oh, okay. You're sort of like when you take a video that's got really low volume and you're able to make the volume better. A lot of what you guys were saying, golfers use that a lot. When they're preparing to take a shot, is they visualize the shot. Tiger Woods has always said it that like when his father was teaching him golf when he was young, his father would say, "See the picture," like especially in putting, when you decide what the line is and you visualize it in your mind what it's going to be. A lot of golfers use that.
Of course, the whitest guy in the room right now mentions golf. Happy birthday, John.
Yeah, like my brother is an avid golfer, and like dude should probably go pro because he's really fucking good at it. I, on the other hand, am not. I only go so I can drive the cart and smoke the weed. That's it. That's the only reason I go.
It's kind of a slow-paced game.
I can drive the cart and just get really, really, really drunk.
Yeah, back in my alcoholic days, that was the thing too, Leo.
I can tell you a couple times where me and some buddies would go to the local golf club that we had up in our small town, and you don't have to like. I mean, I think if you get rent a golf cart, you have to pay like a deposit, something like that. It's a couple times that they got flipped.
Yeah. We used to play bumper carts. You know, we'd get drunk and just we'd fuck shit up, man.
I've only putted. Does that count?
It counts.
It's golf, so.
So,
I mean,
Angela,
it counts in a weird white kind of way.
Weird white.
Angela, are you talking with that person in live chat about the Shroud of Turin?
Oh God.
Yes, he asked me about
Shroud of Turin again. Come on, that thing's been debunked.
Okay, Lisa, hold on. Let Otangelo answer. He's been very quiet since he got here. But yeah, so what is the dispute about the Shroud of Turin, Otangelo?
Well, the dispute is the carbon dating from 1988, which now is strongly questioned. And I think that it is not reliable for several reasons, which I'm outlining at the articles which I put in my library.
It's funny because there's been a lot of people that have claimed that the radiocarbon dating wasn't reliable. Almost all of them had some preconceived bias for that. If you look at Radiocarbon Dating, Second Edition, An Archaeological Perspective by R.E. Taylor and Ofer Bar-Yosef, 2016, pages 167 and 168. You can also look at Investigating a Dated Piece of the Shroud of Turin by R.A. Freer Waters and A.J.T. Joel, and that's from, I think, 2010. There's, Stephen Schaefersman has got some stuff on that as well, I do believe. Ian Wilson, and they've all said that the radiocarbon dating, it's solid.
Hey, real quick before you respond, Otangelo, let me say thank you, Stephanie Trenton, for your well wishes. And Immutable, it just so happened when you asked for the link, Streamlabs had just posted it just right above your post. Unfortunately, we're limited to 6 spots because the paid version got turned off, but we'll be getting that back on tomorrow. I
leave soon so someone else can come in. I will not stay much longer here. But anyway, John, I've not said happy birthday yet. So happy birthday to you and happy New Year and next year, 2021.
Yeah, 57 years ago today, plus 9 months, God created me, Otangelo.
Well, I know it was your mom and daddy who made the deal, but
see, abortion is needed.
Do you think he watched?
I'm such a
I think maybe, oh yeah, sure. I don't, he watched everything, so I think
Get
he
it.
watched.
Get it.
Oh, wait a minute. So, Tangela, you do think God's kind of freaky then, huh?
It's God. Come
No,
on.
I think that God knows everything, so he watched, of course.
Oh, wow. I don't think my parents would be down with that.
I mean,
God
would have to be.
You don't know that.
God's like
Some
a
people are into
hermaphrodite,
that.
right?
Wait a minute. That makes God a
I shouldn't.
peeping Tom.
I'm gonna really rush Otangelo off now if I start going there, so I shouldn't do that.
Festivus, what did you say now? You
What?
said
I don't
there.
know. Oh, maybe they're into it. You don't know that about your parents.
Well, yeah, I guess.
Shit.
You're welcome for thinking about it, though.
Yeah. Thanks for putting
Happy
that
birthday.
in my mind, man.
My dad always said that I'm so pretty because he went deep. So
That's such a terrible thing to tell your son.
Well, that's just one more thing we can put on the freaky list for the Christian God. He's a peeping Tom.
Oh yeah, he definitely gets his rocks off looking at human beings get naked. But
Well, if
again,
God's ever
we're gonna really rush off Otangelo here. Christians don't like it when we go this route with their God.
If God's ever actually watched, like if he's real and he's watched me have sex, he's probably quite disappointed.
Well, you had already sex, Leo?
Yeah, surprisingly, it's very surprising, isn't it?
Oh,
Very, very surprising.
That was a good dig, man. That was a great dig.
Didn't last very long at all. Like 37 seconds.
Oh, Tangela, you've been hanging out with us too much, man. I'm surprised you said that.
I cried afterward because I didn't know what happened.
So this still happens to me. Like Christians find out I've never been married, and they still assume that I'm like a virgin, and I'm like, No. No. Nope. I'm not a 43-year-old virgin. No.
Hey, Richard, go ahead and stay backstage there. We'll get you in when someone leaves. We can. That's what I forgot to mention. We can still have 10 people on here, but 4 of you will be backstage, and then we can rotate people in and out.
Yeah. I hate it.
Wait a minute. Now saying your video is limited to 6 people on screen. Please remove someone before adding another. Yeah, no shit. We already know that.
Oh yeah, I was trying to add. I was like, maybe my hack will do something here, but no.
Yeah. So, yeah, and since it's my birthday, Tangela, you have to say it for me one more time. Is
yeah, that's right.
What's going on here?
Say it louder. Fuck yeah.
Festivus has a fucking Pope hat.
On behalf of God, he watched your parents. They were cool with it.
But
that's hilarious.
Leo, he was disappointed in you. You need to get back in that ass. Try it again.
Oh, D'Angelo, please say, just for my birthday, would you please say P32 space modulator?
Oh, here we go. Here we fucking go.
Well, can you repeat in German? Schiffsdampfkartenmäßigung.
Do you speak German, D'Angelo?
Well, I'm Swiss.
What kind of question is that?
I grew up in Zurich, in Switzerland. My first language is German.
Nice. I didn't know that.
How could you have not known that?
Because I didn't know. I knew he was Swiss, but I didn't know.
Did you think that was an Did you think that was an Alabama accent that he had?
Why weren't you better at sex?
No. It doesn't sound like a German accent to me.
Well, yeah, but I thought Switzerland had like 7 official languages. So
no, we have 4.
What about French? Can you speak French?
Yes, I speak French. I speak Italian. I speak Portuguese.
All right, so here
I couldn't even learn Spanish.
Say P32 space modulator in French.
Oh. No, French is just I just grasp the basics.
All right.
So.
Well, I mean, I feel sorry for your wife if you only grasp the basics of French.
God feels sorry for her too because he's been watching.
Well, no, I live in Brazil. We speak Portuguese here.
Has a blowtorch and a Pope hat.
This is my God lighter.
It's my God lighter.
Well,
is that how you start the ovens in hell?
This is how I start everything.
Brainbug, thank you so much for your well wishes. So, is there anybody that wants to volunteer to go backstage for a few minutes so we can?
I'm gonna step back backstage for a moment, and I'm gonna throw in Richard, and then if somebody else wants to, because Immutable's back there as well. But
yeah, I leave, guys. I leave so someone else can come in. Okay.
Bye, Angelo.
Well, it's Angelo. Come back again so we can make fun of you.
You're a good sport, Otangelo, and I appreciate you coming in. And it's always better to have at least one Christian to talk to when we're doing these things.
The fuck am I now?
Well, yeah.
You're not a Christian. I mean, I wish you was, considering your politics, but no, you're not a Christian.
What are you laughing at?
You.
That's what I
think.
Thought.
Your politics.
Wait.
It's funny.
So's your sex.
Did you see Vosh's stream earlier, Leo?
Yes, I did.
Oh man, it was a great stream, dude. That one dude came in was fucking insane. I couldn't believe that shit.
Dude, this guy is literally saying it's okay for black people to like hold on to information about like racist stuff that white people did from years ago when they were young to use it against them, even though their positions may have changed because, black people just have it so bad. And it's like, I'm not gonna say black people have it so bad, but I think that there's a cogent argument that could be made that they don't have it as good as white people here in the United States amongst many other countries.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah,
but that's a different road, and we're not going to go down that road.
Yeah, we're not going to go down it. But I thought Vosh's argumentation was spot on during that whole thing. Like I was sitting there just nodding the whole time. Like, yep. So
Tangelo, I thought you were leaving, man.
Yeah, bye guys.
No, all right. I mean, I didn't mean it the way it sounded. I just
Bye, Angelo.
And
He is so much
Mindy
nicer
is
than the
here
rest
as
of
well.
you
So we'll pull in Richard. I'll get him up there. I'm gonna step backstage for a bit so we can get another person in here.
happy birthday, John Petersen. Thank you, Richard.
Hey, Festivus, why are you being so blasphemous with the Pope hat?
I just saw it was sitting beside me. I decided to throw it on.
No, but on a serious note, where the hell did you buy that at?
A Halloween store, probably.
That was how the priest
Yeah, I
got.
think so.
That was how the priest got him to have sex way back when.
I'll give you this cool hat.
Yeah, you want this cool hat, son?
Well, you didn't get a cool hat, did you?
I did not.
No.
But the funny thing is, I was actually raised in the Catholic Church, so I mean,
Well, I kind of got a cool hat. There was a German helmet involved. Sorry, that might have went over everybody's head, but never mind.
I think I got it, but I
I
don't
think
know
it's
for
a
sure.
euphemism. He's talking about a penis. It's a
Yeah,
euphemism.
the head of a cock. Yeah, I could show you. No, not really.
Do it.
So, Lisa or Leo? Lisa, you were the first one to get here. Can I put you backstage for a minute or two?
Yeah, I was the last one, other than Richard in Mutiny.
Go
All right,
ahead.
don't leave. Don't leave. But I'm going to put you backstage, and I'm going to bring Mindy in for a little bit.
Okay.
My apologies that we have to do this. This will be fixed by tomorrow. Let's get Mindy in here. The sassy heathen.
Hi, John. Happy birthday.
Why, thank you so much.
You're welcome. It's my son's birthday today, too. He's 14.
Oh, really?
Wow, that age. Oh boy.
That's odd. And it was Knox's daughter's birthday yesterday.
Yeah. So,
It was my birthday on December 11th.
happy birthday.
Wow. No, is that
Nobody cares
December
about my
11th? Is that still Capricorn?
Sagittarius.
Sagittarius. Okay, yeah, you did mention that earlier.
Was cock. Six-pack abs.
So what's up, Immutable?
What the fuck did I just do?
Not too much, man. Happy birthday.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, 57 years young.
Yep, that's right. I'm hoping for another 57.
50's the new 40.
Whew.
What
There
if
we
you're
go.
getting your prostate checked?
I check that on a daily basis.
Oh, boy.
You never just, kind of
You're
do
going
your
to
own
hospital
exam. Maybe you get a little gyration going on and see what happens. Experimentation, that's the way to go.
All right. Okay.
Hey, man, you never know what you like until you do it. Am I right?
Are you?
Don't knock it
you're
till
not
you try
right.
it.
Yeah.
What are you thinking of specifically?
Right now, I am not at liberty to say that on a live stream where it can be traced back.
Oh God.
Because it involves people I refuse to make those comments about.
Ah, you've got specific people playing out in your head. More than
Yeah,
one.
I bet
More
nobody
than
here
one.
can even
Group
guess
activity.
what those are.
Maybe you can guess, but maybe you can. I mean, I guess we don't know, do we?
I mean, I have this fantasy in my head of you having sex with Don Knotts.
That was my fantasy too.
That was a fantasy of mine until I realized it's never going to happen.
Yeah, because he's dead. But
Yeah.
That doesn't stop some people, though.
Because I'm not a necrophiliac, so I was just like, hard
It didn't
pass.
stop Jimmy Seville.
Just
yeah,
like
we
that.
should make a YouTube video, and Leo can play like the Amazing Mr. Lipid, or he could
Why
be,
are there so many ostriches? There'd only be a few ostriches.
or Barney Fife.
You should do that during sex. That would be good.
That would be horrifying.
You want to know what I said the last time? It made her laugh. I was surprised. I was just like, ooh, that pussy is poggers.
Every now and then I whisper "thank you" in my girlfriend's ear really softly afterwards, and she fucking hates it.
or when you're on like a one night stand with somebody and you just say, yeah, marry me. And they're just like, what?
Fucking Zach Galifianakis in like one of the first stand-ups I seen him do. He was there playing the piano and everything, and he said that in the middle of sex he reaches in and whispers in her ear, "Touch my vagina."
Was that Between Two Ferns?
Well, that's the show, but no, that was like it's like some stand-up special he had where
I've never seen him stand up.
Oh, he's funny as fuck, dude. Like, there's
Does he
one
act like Zach Galifianakis, or does he like some comedians are different when they're doing their stand up than when they're in character in a show.
Oh no, he's all Zach during his stand-up, and he plays the piano, and he's funny as hell. I kind of get upset sometimes when people that are awesome comedians leave it behind to like go into movies and do other things. Like I was heartbroken when Steve Martin stopped doing stand-up and started doing all the movies, because when I was a kid, he was like one of my favorite stand-ups.
Wait, whoa, hold up here. Tioga is not allowed to use the word poggers, so she needs to cut that out. She does not know.
I don't even know what the fuck that is.
It means like excited or surprised or something along those lines.
What word?
Well, wait a minute. She's saying very funny, John.
Then she said that was poggers, John. She can't say that word. She said no. Fuck no. Hell no. She's not authorized. She got the poggers card taken away.
Is this a new word that the kids are saying?
Oh, is that how that works?
I believe that it's oh fuck. I'd have to show you guys the meme or the GIF. PogChamp one. It's kind of like a gaming term in some senses.
That's scary.
More post-millennial bullshit. Here we go.
Potters.
Shroud of Turin.
Shroud of my. I'm not even gonna finish that. I'm sorry.
Be quiet, Leo. She says.
I wonder, can you order like a Shroud of Turin like sweatshirt on eBay or something?
Oh, as long as you have an image, you can put anything
It's actually
on a shirt or a sweatshirt.
It's actually a onesie, but yeah, you can get that.
You know what I saw on Wish today? They got like boxer briefs with like a dick tube in front, so you can put your dick in like its own. It's like a finger on a glove. Yeah.
Are you talking about the underwear?
Yeah.
Why?
You gotta wonder, like, the marketing ideas going into this. It's like, yeah, you ever want your penis to be like soft while it's in boxers?
So here's the question:
Do you want to give your dick a hug?
I was gonna buy. I did buy a pair of those from American Eagle. They had a pair of witch boxers, and the nose was, that's pretty self-explanatory. But it didn't work because it wasn't long enough. It didn't.
It wasn't long enough to fill the nose part.
Yeah, it didn't work. It didn't work.
I'm wondering if Matt Powell's wife has to battle with that question that Sassy just asked every day.
Okay, dude, let's be honest. Matt Powell's wife is the top in that relationship.
Do I want to?
Oh, wait, I didn't even know Matt Powell had a wife. So
yeah, she has to answer that question every day. Do I want to hug my dick?
Okay, I got to look this chick up. Matt Powell's wife.
Yeah, that's a good question. Lisa just posted in the private chat. Why do they insist on using the Shroud of Turin if that's as if that is so dispositive of whether Jesus exists?
Well, there are some things that go too much into the mythos stuff, but an argument I am tired of Christians using are, number one, the design argument, and number two, the cosmological argument.
Which one do you hate more?
The cosmological argument, because none of them know anything about cosmology well enough to be able to be capable of a reason. I could argue that argument better than almost every theist I've met that argues it.
Let's hear that.
So you want me to do my defense of the cosmological argument?
The Christian positive stance.
Yeah. Because I don't think we have enough time.
Notes version.
So the version that I would defend is the Kalam cosmological argument. Premise one,
that doesn't prove any particular God.
Has a cause. Premise two, the universe began to exist. Therefore, the universe must have a cause. So, for the first premise, I would think that everybody would agree that if something begins to exist, there is something that caused the instantiation of that thing's beginning to exist. I really don't think that most people would object to the first premise.
Objection.
I don't think that anybody who does would have a reasonable argument to make. I think the second premise is the one that most people should make the focus on. And I mean, anybody who's well versed in the areas of modern cosmogony and cosmology will know that almost all of the data seems to indicate that the universe did indeed have a beginning. So I think it is reasonable to conclude that the universe has a cause. And if this thing caused space, time, and mass energy to begin existing, then the thing itself cannot be constructed of space, time, or mass energy. So it must be an uncaused, immaterial, and certainly extremely powerful cause, fundamentally disconnected from the reality in which we reside, so that it was capable of bringing it into existence. The exact properties we would expect of God.
So, except for Halton Arp, who was kicked from the community and pushed off to the Max Planck Institute, who said exactly the opposite of the origins of the universe. Originally called the next Galileo, he was disassociated from his cohorts because he wrote of his observations, sat in the chair of Hubble and wrote of his observations about quasars being hooked to objects known to be near.
What?
So if you're going to say, like, conclusively there was a beginning of the universe, first of all, there are arguments against that. That's the first problem with your argument.
They're not very strong.
Okay, well, then it didn't necessarily have a cause if it was just reforming and collating and dispersing again, because things naturally do.
What? Because this wasn't
existent matter.
Yeah, but the Big Bang is the beginning of matter. So how could it reformed from matter if it's
not
the beginning?
Necessarily. Though,
no, it's not. That's my point. It's not necessarily the beginning of matter.
All the data seems to indicate that it is, and we.
Do you realize, Leo, that in order to have a universe with this amount of energy in it, if you're going to appeal to potentials crossing over from some reality, then you can only appeal to the correct percentage of those crossings over, which is a superposition, which is one superposition in as many as can be. So you actually need a universe that times larger than this one to create this one. You realize that, right?
No, you don't. We don't know if there are other universes. There doesn't seem to be any data that indicates that there is.
No. In order that energy transferred into this reality at some point, it had to come from somewhere.
It didn't transfer. It started at the Big Bang.
You can't just start energy, Leo. You can't just start some energy. It doesn't work. No, you can transfer it, but you can't start some.
Yes, you can.
Would you go ahead and do that for us?
Well, I can't. I'm not God. And I already exist in the universe, and am thereby subject to its laws.
No, you don't get to just appeal. You don't get to just appeal to something that you have no evidence for just because the situation can be explained by what you're appealing to. It's not the most logical answer. After all, if God were outside of the universe, then how does God interact with the universe having no physicality? There can't be something. If something is physical, it's part of the universe.
As far as we know, yes.
It's part of this universe.
Well, it's part of some universe if it's physical. So you're appealing to there being a very, very powerful unconscious mind that has no brain. Aside from that appeal.
Wait. What you just said a minute ago, though, Richard, that presupposes the idea that there can't be a universe in which matter doesn't exist.
Well, then it wouldn't be a universe.
Why?
It would be a lack of a universe.
Why would it be?
It'd be a trivial universe.
It would be a literal vacuum if nothing existed in it.
I didn't say nothing existed. I said in which no matter existed.
Yeah, in that case,
what did you want to exist?
Matter seems fundamental to it being a thing that exists.
Well, let's go with Immutable's idea. At least there has to be energy there, right?
Sure.
Yeah, if there's just energy in a universe and there's no matter, it's trivial essentially because the energy just has no choice but to fluctuate back and forth.
Lisa, I think you can answer Lisa's question. Immutable wants someone to discuss the bubble universe hypothesis.
I've never even heard of that. By the way, I did want to say really quickly that Richard actually did bring pretty solid objections to the.
Fuck yeah, he did.
Yeah,
I mean, but there's numerous bubble universe hypotheses.
You would have lost even if you didn't admit it.
Probably not. I wasn't actually doing my best.
Sean Carroll actually has a universe pumping universe, which creates bubble universes. But I think that's just kicking the can down the road. It's just putting off the question of where did that come from.
Well, but immutable. You kind of got trounced on there. What were you about to say?
Yeah, the bubble universe, if I'm not mistaken, it's a model that states that during like periods prior to during the Big Bang itself, essentially, that essentially the universe we observe, right? That essentially it's among one of many that the expansion kind of dragged off other portions of energy. And during that same period of time, though, those little bubble universes, so those universes that expanded so far away from ours, generated essentially their own kind of miniature universes that take different fundamental constants.
Is this based on anything besides mental masturbation?
No. It's based on inflationary cosmology, but there's no support to say that those types of universes actually do exist, because by definition they'd be unobservable.
I don't like theories that you can't do shit with.
Then it's not a theory, it'd be a hypothesis.
Yes, it is a hypothesis. But I just wanted to see what you guys thought of it. And, I know it just kicks the can down the road, but, honestly, the Big Bang is the best we have right now, but it's not the only one out there that can at least explain at least some of the stuff. It's just the best one we have right now. And
you know who gave it to us?
With that is we know the Big Bang theory eventually breaks down because it generates a singularity at t equals 0.
Yeah, a Catholic monk gave us the Big Bang theory.
Yeah,
which the Christians absolutely ignore.
Yeah, so the Big Bang theory breaks down at some point, and part of that's due to we don't understand gravity at the quantum level, and that's going to be probably the major insight that gives us an idea of what the universe looks like, or looked like at t equals 0, or close to t equals 0.
Immutable, isn't it true? Sorry, go ahead, John.
No, I just was going to say Leo was the one that disappeared. He's backstage now. We'll get you back in here, Leo. But go ahead.
All this stuff is kind of over my head if you want me to step back and let Leo back in.
You stop that.
Here. We can be stupid.
Yeah. It's outside of your experience, not over your head.
Yeah. Besides, I'd much rather look at you, Mindy, than Leo.
Oh, come on. The way you were talking earlier, I don't know about that.
Well, I'm not Don Knotts, so. But Richard, what were you saying now?
Oh, I have no idea now. Sorry.
Oh,
And
Jesus.
And I was talking about how the Big Bang theory eventually does collapse because of a lack of understanding of quantum gravity.
Oh, yeah. Isn't it true that we also...
Damn it, Hall.
But no, what I was going to say is also just the idea that we can only go back to that, t equals 0 or whatever it was you said. Like, we don't know what was before that. That's why, Richard was able to defend Leo's argument so well, because even when you talk about the Big Bang, you're not talking about knowing what was prior to that time frame.
Mm-hmm.
Right, exactly. We only understand the Big Bang up to a significant fraction of time, but not close to where the Planck level is. Not close to scales that are close to the Planck time.
Well, and not being so scientifically minded myself, I've never really bought into that idea that, for the model to be correct, then time came into existence at the point of the Big Bang. But I think that ignores the fact that we don't know where the singularity would have come from, and that, when you think about multiverse theory, if there was anything before this universe that the singularity came out of, that's not to say that there wasn't a time frame in that medium or other universe in which it was born out of.
Yeah, the biggest Well, there's two big kind of interesting questions about the so-called T equals 0. Which the first one is that why exactly was the universe, like the very young universe, like at T equals 0, so to speak, at such a state of low entropy, right? Because the second law says that a system evolves towards high entropic states. Whereas the beginning of the universe, it's actually the lowest possible energy you can have. And the obvious next question is, if there was anything before that, like if there's anything before, T equals 0, what caused the universe to adopt that structure and be in that entropic state?
Immutable, am I thinking about this incorrectly when I say that all time matter was in a singularity at t equals 0?
Yeah.
With such tight curvature, almost infinite curvature, that to say why didn't entropy suggest that there was something outside of that, doesn't it? Because there's nothing at all. There's pure absolute nothing in the theory outside of that infinite curvature singularity, right? So then to say why was there such low entropy is to say why was it itself?
Yeah, that's true. That's kind of a weird, question that kind of boils into tautology.
Oh, this is a thing that I get really irritated with the Christians on, talking about entropy when they have no idea what the fuck entropy is to begin with. They think it's going toward disorder. It's not going toward disorder. It's just the amount of heat that's available to do work. And
well, it is simultaneously true that going to disorder or spreading out evenly is probably a cleaner way to say it. It is something that's, but of course you're right. That's going to eliminate some amount of ability of work in a specific area versus work overall or lack of ability of work. Heat death.
Yeah.
But in entropy, we're also talking about an open system, and the universe, as far as we know, is not an open system.
Well, in that case, all systems are closed systems.
The Earth is not a closed system.
Well, then there's only open systems.
No, the universe is an isolated system. The Earth is open because it actively receives energy from outside of it, i.e. the sun. The universe doesn't receive...
isn't the same.
First law of thermodynamics.
No, that you cannot appeal to the first law of thermodynamics.
Yes, I can. Because entropy relates to the second law. The first law tells us that the universe has to either be closed or, more appropriately, isolated, because matter and energy cannot move from outside of it. There's no such thing as outside of the universe.
Back to win this round.
Thank you, Leo, for restating the same thing twice. I really appreciate that for clarity. Now, how can you show me that energy doesn't come into this universe from some other existence or multiple existences?
The second law of thermodynamics.
Okay. So just say, I don't see your point.
I got a question for Leo or Immutable. Isn't an isolated system one in which energy can go out but not come in?
No.
No, an isolated system is when energy or matter can either be
can not go outside of or inside of it.
Outside of essentially the area in which it's contained.
A closed system is one in which you can exchange energy but not matter. An open system, you can exchange both. An isolated system can exchange neither. There isn't anything, there's no such thing as outside the universe, so there's nothing for the universe to exchange either its matter or its energy with. And if the universe was not isolated, the second law would not be true. We wouldn't observe the second law in literally every instance.
Didn't you just assume there's only one universe and dispose of multi-universe theory in your statement?
Yeah, like most cosmologists.
I'm playing
most
because I'm out.
Yes, the vast majority of cosmologists, in fact.
Okay.
contrary to what some people may hear, multiple.
Whoop.
Well, that was abrupt.
What just happened?
Leo just
I think
went.
his stream just fell.
Oh, wait a minute.
I
It
think
moved
he
on the
fell
screen
out.
because I was trying to put Mindy backstage for a few minutes so I could bring myself in to comment on that, and somehow I clicked the wrong one. The screen must have shifted. So don't leave, Mindy.
I can step back if you need me to. It's not a
Yeah,
problem.
I'm gonna put you backstage. I don't know what happened. The screen shifted. I clicked on yours, but Leo disappeared or something. So let's see here. Let's do
I want to
that.
start an argument with Lisa for truth.
Well, just real quick though, I cut Leo off in the middle of a sentence there trying to put Mindy backstage. But yeah, you could finish your thought, Leo. But like I popped in because I wanted to say, like this is the same issue that, and for lack of a better term, it's not really an issue that you and I were having the other day in Speed Stream. Is that I find it so interesting, I guess, that you as a scientifically minded person seem to speak so definitively about things sometimes. I mean, because I think Richard made a very good point, is that, even though maybe the majority of cosmologists, find the multiverse theory to be lacking, there's still no definitive answer to whether there is something outside of this universe. So
there's no definitive answer as to whether God is outside this universe, but I would argue that most people in this stream don't think that there is. It is for the same exact reason that most cosmologists don't run with the assumption that there are other universes. There probably aren't. We don't know. Even if there were, there would never be a way for us to confirm it. So
right,
why should we consider it?
Well, but that's what I see, and now you're kind of. You're kind of shifting your stance there because you just says there's probably not. Whereas a few moments ago when you were exchanging with Richard, you definitively ruled out his hypothesis. I mean,
I only do that because the professionals do. I've heard more professionals say, there's not other universes, more than I have.
Yeah. But the point I'm trying to make, I mean, and with your last statement, you're kind of addressing what I said because now you're saying probably, and that makes more sense to me.
I would say that there just isn't at all. They don't. They don't exist. Other universes are as real as Santa Claus for the same reason that Santa Claus is real.
There actually would be one way to kind of glimpse other universes, and it'd be indirect at best, but it would be observing variance within some statistically significant level of variance within the fundamental constants.
But that doesn't necessarily indicate other universes, though. That is one particular explanation, but it doesn't indicate other universes.
Well, sure, but you can't explain that using classical physics that we have currently.
Well, of course not. If the fundamental constants varied, we wouldn't expect classical physics to explain them because classical physics isn't where most of the constants of our universe arise. My bad.
Well, sure. I mean, it would arise mostly like from quantum field theory or string theory.
Yes.
But in that case, it would mean that the set of parameters would be it essentially would be one of the predictions of the multiverse.
Yeah, one of.
Hey, what do you guys say to what Kathy just posted? I don't know who he specifically is talking about. Nobel laureates definitely consider the possibility of the multiverse. It's the only way they can get superstring theory to make sense.
Well, superstring theory isn't a theory, and most theoretical physicists don't hold the superstring theory, mainly because we've run some experiments on supersymmetry, and the universe certainly does not seem to be supersymmetrical. There's an extremely limited chance it still could be, but probably not. He's probably talking about particularly Roger Penrose, who doesn't believe in a multiverse theory. He holds to his own model, conformal cyclic cosmology, and I probably couldn't word it as well as PhD theoretical astrophysicist Ethan Siegel, who's written an article that I am more than willing to share for anybody who wants to read it on why
you read that,
probably isn't correct.
Could the owner of the channel speak?
We fuck girls. So what's wrong with you, Leo?
Is there any way that you could shift the camera so we can just see her and not you?
This is as good as you're gonna get. I need some attention too. That's why I'm playing dress up while y'all talk over my head about super theories.
Super.
You've heard of regular theories, and they explain some things. Now let me introduce you to super theories.
I was totally muted
super
to the
theories
audience, so I
explain
apologize,
literally
audience.
everything.
I have too many
you
mute
think that
buttons.
this explains? Maybe you don't. You haven't heard of a super theory that explains literally every minute detail of something that you observe. Super theories, greatest thing ever.
You're describing a silly theory.
I've never heard of a super theory. Is that kind of like when a theory tries to take into account all the laws, and then a super theory tries to take into account all the theories? Is that what that is?
I don't know. Super theory isn't actually like a real term.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
As far as I know,
the real term's meta theory. That's
Now
what
it
he was
is.
actually. He was just kidding around. The real term's meta theory.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Somebody was saying something about wanting to start something with me. Cosmology's not my strong suit, but go ahead.
No, it was on something you said some time ago, actually. I think you were loosely quoting Richard Dawkins when you said a bunny in the Cambrian layer.
Oh, that was just a lot of people go with that. You know, I was just saying, you know, you don't see that.
Right. You see something much worse. Yeah, Richard Dawkins originally said that he would reconsider Darwinistic type of evolutionary not Darwinistic. I didn't say that for anyone who's listening carefully. He would reject a Darwinistic type of evolutionary process, naturalistic process, if a bunny were found in the he named a specific layer that has dinosaur in it. And he's famous for having said that. It's been quoted several times. I thought you were quoting that.
Oh, no, I was quoting somebody else who must have been quoting him. But yeah,
That's
I mean,
probably the case, yeah. So I just think it's interesting that if dinosaurs were some 60,000 years ago, bunnies were some, 60, I'm going to get this right in a second, million years ago. Sorry, guys. And then bunny rabbits should have been, you know, small, simple rodent type mammals, probably about only about 15 or 20 million years later. Okay. That's only about a 15 million year, 20 million. I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. I'm going to say a 50 million year gap there. Okay. Which is ridiculous. It's way too much of a gap. Okay. But we found a placental placard fish, a fish that gives live birth via placenta in the Cambrian layer. Now, placental fish shouldn't have existed for about 200 million years more after the Cambrian layer. So people say, oh, Richard Dawkins is right. Bunny rabbit, ha, 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 dinosaur layer. Well, ha, ha, ha.
Didn't we go over this once already?
Yeah, and I'll probably do it several more times.
Yeah, it said it was placental-like, not a placenta.
Yeah, and don't leave flow state. I just stuck you back there for a minute to pop in and say, yes, I'm having severe deja vu on this very channel. I think we've talked to Richard about this before, and I can't quite remember what the outcome of that was, but for some reason I'm remembering that that most everybody was eschewing Richard's hypothesis about all this, but I don't remember why.
Well, it just seems to me that placental-like is a placenta.
No, and for
Not
the reasons for that,
necessarily.
you'd have to talk to an anatomist because, quite frankly, there's a lot to that in terms of like the structure and explaining why something that's placenta-like would not be necessarily a placenta. And I don't think anybody else in the room has the necessary qualifications to really go into that one.
I mean, it is sexual reproduction. It's not ejaculation directly onto eggs, which would have been more typical of something that we'd expect to see.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I'll give that to you.
Okay, so still,
I feel like if this were enough to actually overturn evolutionary theory, we probably wouldn't be using integrated synthesis.
well, if it was enough to overturn, then it would have been overturned.
Yeah, and it hasn't been.
I'm not. I mean, I'll concede to you that it wasn't enough for those that are serious in the field to have overturned it. I'll give you that. Obviously, I just wonder why.
Probably because they looked at it and they determined, okay, fine, we simply need to refine our phylogeny in terms of, how certain organ development or the timescale in which certain organ development of a placental-like, thing existed.
Wasn't evolution more like a trial and error thing, though, where certain things were successful and certain things were not? So is it possible that something like this would have developed which has placenta-like characteristics, but it wasn't successful in this species, and things changed, and it could have come about in another species? Is that?
Let me address the complexity of. Let me address the complexity of sexual reproduction. Okay, there's not only the key and lock problem, which I'm sure you're well aware of. Okay, there's also the problem of all foreign bodies being attacked by the immunosystem. Mm-hmm. You see, ejaculate from outside of the female is a foreign body that is rejected by the female.
Right.
And it's the female's system will try to kill it, mm-hmm. unless that self-defense system, were shut down. So actually, there has to be. I mean, it's not just. I'm not talking about one step here. I'm talking about an 11-step cascade process that has to develop in that amount of time. And to say, well, it's trial and error is fine if we're only talking about one more step. But it's not fine if we're talking about a series of 11 steps.
Well, I mean, and given all that, though, Richard, given all that, though, Richard, that doesn't preclude the loose hypothesis Mindy just offered. I mean, I understand what she's saying. She said, well, you're talking about this placental-like creature that was found in a certain layer, and like she alluded to, there's different biological facts that arose and fell in different parts of evolution. I mean, so it could have, like she said, it wasn't successful in that particular case, and then it emerged again in another, branch of the phylogeny tree.
Well, we actually found 5 different placard fish that sexually reproduced in the Cambrian layer in Queensland, Australia. So it's not we found one.
So, I mean, the event you're claiming that should have taken 11 steps. I mean, if it's in my conception, it might be incorrect, but I can imagine it happening in one step, because of this type of, essential, tearing down of like extracellular, ejaculate that doesn't come from the female is something that pertains to a, cell-signaling process of some kind where, some protein receives a molecule. All it would take for that to happen is that gene becomes inactivated, either by a mutation simply, rendering that gene useless, and simply gene.
How does the gene come back on at the appropriate time and the animals survive other things that are foreign bodies?
Well, I mean, in this case, it's just
because sperm is a foreign cell, period.
Right, but in this case, you're saying it's only responding to the presence of extracellular semen, right? So I mean, it's responding to whatever particular molecules happen to decorate that of of semen cells that are, or ejaculate cells that are not the host's own.
Right.
Right. So it's only doing that for one specific set of things. It's possible still that it's able to protect itself against bacterial infections because of the different genes and things like that that are responsible for host immunity.
That seems fair.
So I'm not sure.
I mean, question really quick.
I imagine it could be true.
Can I ask a question, Immutable? Because you'll probably know more about this than I do. I guess, sexual reproduction essentially come about. I want to say it either had something to do with like the preservation of chromosomes or something like that, since you get 2 from each parent and it like increased their preservation, or it was something to do with like genetic recombination or something like that. And that's why
from what I understand, this is probably butchered and probably a little outdated from like what people that are actually in Evo, like an Evo bio will tell you. But my understanding is that sexual reproduction evolved so that you have more genetic diversity occurring. And essentially that's because if you have things that are asexually reproducing, so things that are just dividing and, recombining, dividing and replicating their own DNA, the diversity that gets generated there mostly is due to mutations that an organism acquires over its lifetime. Whereas
real quickly, Leo, I'm sorry. I thought you were done. Sorry.
Whereas if 2 organisms are breeding with each other, and each of which is contributing one strand of, essentially, half of a helix of DNA, and the other contributing its own half, right? You have more potential for genetic diversity to occur because each is being given from one of the from the mother and the father.
Which at least in my mind, it makes sense.
That's chapter 6 of The Origin of Species by Charles Darwin, talking about diversity adding to an organism's ability to survive in different environments. Leo, when you said sexual, did you mean like scientifically including like flowers?
No, I guess.
Because I kind of got the idea that you were thinking mammals.
Immutable would probably be a
similar type of thing. The genetics of flowers are just like very, very bizarre because they can have different ploidy counts based upon like what stage of life they're in or all sorts of weird shit.
But the reason we named the parts of the sexually reproducing parts of the flower what we did is because they are sexually reproducing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Some, I believe, depends where you are in the plant kingdom. I think there are some plants which asexually reproduce, so they're self-pollinating.
Yes.
But there's some plants that do sexually reproduce with each other. So. Yeah.
And the devil's backbone cactus doesn't reproduce at all. It just grows babies on it. It doesn't. It grows a whole nother flower or another cactus on the cactus.
So with what you guys are talking about now, does that mean that honeybees are fluffers?
They are. Which is why they're all females.
Well, some fluffers are male though.
No, the females that the pollinating honeybee is all females.
I don't know if that's true. Immutable.
Yeah, the drones just stay in the hive and impregnate the queen. And then when it comes wintertime, the worker bees, the females, kick the drones out.
Death sentence.
Wait a minute. How do you impregnate a queen?
With sperm.
No, never mind. That went over your head.
Yes, Richard is correct. Worker bees are female.
Sorry. You're right, John. I wasn't thinking sexually enough. Sorry. Anyway, John, happy birthday, guys. Thanks all for the conversation. Appreciated you all very, very much. And peace and respect you all. And good night.
Okay, but really, really quick before you go, Richard, I just wanted to say that you were correct. All worker bees are female.
He knows.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate the confirmation. Thank you for your research. Peace and respect you all. Good night.
You too.
Hi, Richard.
Peace out.
Well, I definitely was not expecting to talk about the sexual reproduction of flowers tonight.
Really? Happy birthday, John.
This is what I dreamt about when I thought about my birthday.
Mm-hmm.
So to kind of like segue both discussions that happened, Immutable, do you think that like maybe universes utilize sexual reproduction?
Goodbye.
I mean, world's biggest orgy.
What was that, Immutable?
I mean, black holes must be having some form of cosmic sex. It's the world's biggest fucking orgy for a while.
Oh, wait. Everybody right now, Google black holes and see what comes up.
I'm afraid to do that now, especially.
I get the Wikipedia article on black holes. A black hole is a region of space-time where gravity is so strong that nothing, no particle, or even electromagnetic radiation such as light can escape from it.
You must have safe search on then.
No, believe me, my safe search is off, my friend.
Oh, okay.
I have McAfee, so I might not be getting anything like that.
40 minutes. 40 minutes the Trumper could talk, could take the science talk. And then his brain was overloaded and that motherfucker had to go.
Okay, so I'm sorry, I'm lost. Who was the Trumper? Was that Richard?
Flow State.
No.
Flow State is the resident atheist Trumper. So much so, I've got to go to his Twitter page supposedly and look at all this bullshit about how Trump is going to be president and not Biden.
You should have.
I've got news for you. Come January 20th, Joe Biden is president.
Is my mic low, John?
Yeah.
It's good now, really good.
Yeah.
Doc, you should have a stream on the 20th and invite him specifically into it to have a discussion to say what happened.
I have a feeling Flow State definitely has proven to have more balls than Messenger reveals, because that dude has been non-existent since it became apparent Biden won. But yeah, I don't think that day he'll come and have a talk.
You can extend the invitation though.
Yeah, I will extend the invitation. We can talk Trump that day, Flow State.
I have a feeling that on the inauguration, the governors are going to be on the safe side and call out the National Guard.
Yeah,
I think there's going to be some kind of military involvement. There's going to have to be, because there's far too many Trumpers that are threatening violence, and I don't see that going quietly.
Yeah, well, I definitely think that they'll
60 IQ dipshits who probably couldn't shoot as far as they could fucking throw themselves.
I definitely think they'll have uptick in security, but I think if we're gonna see violence, it probably won't be on that day. It'll be before. It's pretty much on Trump now. If he's gonna escalate it farther, we'll see.
Of course he will.
But I mean,
Trump
they're already planning the coup on I think the 4th or the 6th or whatever. The senators
the
are
6th,
gonna.
yeah.
So,
but let me tell you,
it's not over.
These Trumpers are only gonna go after Democrat governors.
Oh yeah. They already came after mine.
Yep. It's fucking ridiculous. And now the one thing that pisses me off that I'm sure we've all heard about is the Christmas Day terrorist attack in Nashville, because that's what it was.
Suicide bomber, yeah.
Just because the guy was fucking white doesn't make him not a suicide bomber and doesn't make him not a terrorist.
Mm-hmm.
But everybody's saying, well, no, he blew up the building that AT&T was storing all the stuff in because they took up a contract to audit Dominion's. AT&T has not taken up a contract for anything like that at all. And I don't even think that building was an AT&T building. I could be wrong on that, but I don't think it was. But AT&T never took up a contract to audit Dominion voting machines. It's fucking conspiracy theory after conspiracy theory after conspiracy theory, because they're just desperate and scrambling for anything they think can make their case. And I think it's sad more than anything.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Trump cannot call out our military on that day because it is unconstitutional for our military to meddle in domestic affairs.
Well, haven't they already made a statement saying that they weren't going to?
Right. Many members of the military have already come out and said that that's a non-starter.
Yeah, and
it would be an illegal
but
order.
it has to be. Yeah, it will be. And so it has to be the governors calling out the National Guard to keep the peace.
Mm-hmm.
But
how many hours after Joe Biden is sworn in does Melania file for divorce?
Honestly, I don't think she will.
I mean, she's already up to multi-million dollars, even at this stage of their life, that she's going to get if she leaves.
You don't think Trump would try to fuck her every which way from Sunday because he
I'm
obviously
sure he would.
If she tried to divorce him?
I'm sure he would.
But being married to him, does that not, with all the debt that he's already accrued and taken personal responsibility for, unless they have a prenup, would that not also fall on her too?
Well, no, that's just it. They do have a prenup. He doesn't marry anybody without a prenup.
It's Donald Trump, of course not.
Yeah.
What a
Yeah, I
piece
agree.
of-
It's like it's. I think the way the prenup is structured is that the amount goes up the more time she's married to him, and then you add to the fact that they have a child together. That's going to entail so much, just in child support each month. Now, the only problem with that is that as I've theorized for quite a while, and as it looks to be more and more true the more time that goes by, is that Donald Trump does not have anywhere near the money that he claims he has.
He doesn't. Why do you think he won't release
He
taxes?
doesn't. Of course he doesn't. He's just a bragger.
That's why they're working so hard for donations from his supporters, because he needs that money.
That's the only reason why I think he
orangutan
refused to
toddler.
concede.
He's just an orangutan toddler who's having a temper tantrum.
Right.
A broke one.
Somebody wants to know if after they take Trump out of the White House, is his golden toilet going to be sitting at the curb at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue?
No, he's going to be taking it down to the pawn shop.
Yeah, probably. He's
they'll
definitely
get
raking in millions
for it.
Icarus says, "Why divorce him? Just wait a few years."
No, actually, by law, the president cannot take anything out of the White House.
Well, he brought his own toilet with him now.
Oh, well, that's something
Did
else.
he for real? Like, this is like the first time. hearing
I don't
about
know.
this.
I'm just guessing.
No, dude,
are
like
y'all being serious?
the way that shit is like set up at Trump Tower, if you remember pictures from like the 90s and early 2000s about how it's all like gold and gold colored and just like this overly, I mean, and anybody who watches South Park is going to get the reference. So I'm not like being serious here. I'm being a little facetious. It's like how Persians, the Persians, everything's got to be gold and there's going to be like carpets everywhere and it's got to be really fancy. That's Donald Trump.
Gold-plated everything.
Yeah, that's Donald Trump.
Yeah.
I've heard stories like he's actually considering of rebooting The Apprentice. So that would be fucking hilarious. That would be great. I would root for that.
He's got to give his supporters something.
I think that what Trump and his family are going to do is either A, he's going to start his own news organization, or B, he's going to get like they're going to get contracts with like OAN or fucking like Newsmax or something like that and just start raking in the dough.
Yeah, that's what they're calling for him. They want him to start his own OAN.
Oh,
not,
yeah.
Not.
No, we all know what it's going to be called. Fucking Trump News.
Trump TV. Like he already has something called like Trump TV.
He's not very original.
Yeah.
He's not at all.
I did one
Trump
video
News,
on that
Trump News.
I think it's Laura Trump, Don Jr.'s wife, and she. I found one video from Trump TV from her, and it was cringy as fuck. Like, it was bad.
Do you expect anything else from them, though?
It's going to be the Trump. It's going to be the Trump News Network, and their flagship program is going to be Trump with a daily broadcast called "Believe Me."
But it may not be as bad as we think it's going to be. Prepare for the worst, but hope for the best. But I think it was Pat Robertson finally, but grudgingly, said Biden's the next president.
Oh shit! I thought you were going to say Pat Robertson finally fucking died. I thought that's what you're.
Honestly, I'd rather fucking good old God. Why am I drawing a blank right now? You got to be fucking kidding me. Name starts with a K. Are you fucking kidding me? Don't anybody say it. God damn it!
Said it.
I said don't say it. You fuck. Yeah,
I said it before you said don't say it. Technically,
you did. I honestly, I'd rather him go before motherfucking Pat Robertson. I'd rather Mitch. If I could pick anybody to die right now, it'd be Mitch McConnell.
Here's the monkey in the room, man. Me and John both said this publicly, but when Trump got COVID, me and John both was like, yeah, for the good of the country, this motherfucker need to go. Like, he honestly can't have too many years left to really do too much damage. I'm more worried about the next Trump being better than this current one. You know, whether it's like an actual Trump like Ivanka or who I think that could potentially be it, or just some dude willing to play that fascist playbook, but that's going to actually do it right this time, you know?
Well, and what I said at the time, specifically what I said at the time is it looks like COVID might finally achieve what the CIA should have done a few years ago.
Yeah. Behind the scenes, me and John were, because you know you don't want to say it publicly, especially it is the president.
No, I said it publicly in a lot of places,
but not me. You know, I was very careful not to. But I mean, I'm not going to lie. For the good of the country, it might have been a good thing if COVID went a different way. And I'm also finding out now that this Regeneron treatment isn't as rare as everybody seems to think it is. And in fact, we should probably be giving it to everybody. And the fact that we're not is kind of fucked up. So.
That's probably
I thought hydroxychloroquine was the answer.
So I've said this before, and I'll probably say it again. I don't mind the moderate and progressive religious people, but we have got to do something about the fundamentalists. The fundamentalists have got to go.
Well, that's the problem, though.
On every religion.
I mean, the fundamentalists, they get there because these books say what they say. You know, I mean, you don't. You become a progressive Christian through a lot of mental gymnastics and justifications and ignoring most of the text, right? Like the problem is inherently this is that the fucking texts say what the texts say, and you can never unless you're going to get rid of the text, you can't take that away.
I think that we need to do exactly what's happening. The fundamentalists just need to be made irrelevant, and I think that that's been happening for quite some time now, at least the last 20 years. Well, that's why they've become so vocal, because they know they're being pushed into they're being pushed into the corner of irrelevancy. So they're just getting louder and louder.
Well, that was true before Trump, I think, but I think Trump really gave them space and breathing room.
I was about to say, if they're becoming irrelevant, how did Trump get elected?
I mean, just look at Matt Powell, right? So, like, when me and Matt Powell first started interacting, he was about a couple hundred subs ahead of me, right? He's now like over triple of my sub count in the last year and a half. Now, a lot of that came from like his first appearance on Kent Hovind's channel. That was a huge bump for him. But like the dude is growing 3 times faster than I am, and he is the worst of the fundamentals.
I'm sorry to say this. No, I'm not sorry to say this. Scratch that. I'm not sorry to say this. Kent Hovind needs to die, and I wish somebody would.
The opinions of some of the guests don't.
There's the report.
I'm a humanist.
To make that happen.
Hold on, real quick. Thank you so much, Slade Chimera. He says, "Happy birthday." Hey, look, I'm being funny when I said that. I mean, hey, Lisa's entitled to her opinion. I mean, and not to necessarily agree with that opinion, but I've said before, and Knock disagrees with me on this, but like I identify as a humanist too and believe in all those tenets. But the one thing that I don't believe in, which isn't necessarily just a humanistic idea, is that I do not believe the idea that all life is precious. Okay, I'm sorry, it's not. There are certainly human beings and other life forms that the earth would be better off without. Okay,
I'm not saying that I'm going to do anything to make that happen.
Right.
Don't get me wrong, But, when he does kick the bucket, I'd like somebody to buy me an airplane ticket so I can piss on his grave.
All right, so let me take a moment and just tell myself how absolutely wrong I was to ever think that it would be better for it would be better for the country if Trump had died, but I shouldn't have thought about it and I shouldn't have went there because it was wrong. And John knows this, and he's right. Like, we do disagree on this. I am staunchly against killing anybody. I'm against the death penalty.
So
so like that's I the worst of the worst. I don't wish death on Donald Trump or anybody, Kent Hovind, prison maybe, yeah, or definitely maybe silencing of atrocious ideas. I'd probably be for that. But me personally, I am a very staunch humanist, and I don't believe in killing anybody. I'm anti-war and anti-death, and yeah.
No, I don't.
I know, I know, Lisa, and I know what you're saying. I'm just saying to get my position out there because I personally was just talking about an incident where I was being a complete dickhead.
Here's the thing. Wait a minute. So what? 85 million people, voted against Trump, voted for Biden this time. Okay, so a couple years from now, Donald Trump finally kicks the bucket. How many people are going to be like, oh, darn it? There's going to be a whole lot of people that are either going to feel indifferent about it or feel like
shit.
Yeah, see, I'm very passionate about that. Like, see, and people like disagree with me when it comes to free speech, but I'm like, you can't honestly say you believe in free speech if you don't believe in the free speech of those people saying the things you detest the most. I believe wholeheartedly in Matt Powell's individual freedom to say the abhorrent shit that he says. I also believe wholeheartedly in my freedom to go at him in whatever manner I choose, likely because he's an abhorrent human being pushing abhorrent ideas. But he has the right to do that. He has that freedom to do that, and I believe in that. And I catch a lot of heat from a lot of lefties for that. But it's just that's, I will admit, a lot of innate conservatism within me. But until that Constitution gets changed, I do consider myself a constitutionalist. But I think we should be changing the fucking Constitution like regularly.
I am staunchly anti-death penalty. Every time I hear that someone's been executed, I'll be like, God damn it, not again. I am staunchly anti-death penalty because if you look at it from purely a humanist standpoint, the country.
Hey, real quick before you finish up there, I just want to. Sorry, Lisa. I just want to say goodbye to Mindy. Mindy's giving us a heads up in the private chat that she's going to have to head out.
Yep, I will. I have to set up for my own stream, so I will talk to you guys soon. Happy birthday, John.
When does that start?
Not till 10 o'clock.
Oh, okay.
Have a good night, guys. Thanks for having me.
Yep. Peace out, Mindy.
Who else did we just lose?
Immutable. I don't know if Immutable went backstage or if he left.
No, he's not backstage. He just must have left.
He must have left. Yeah.
So, the countries that do not have a death penalty have the lowest murder rates in the world. Just saying.
The United States also has one of the highest recidivism rates in the world because our incarceration system is not based on rehabilitation and education. It's literally based on recidivism because that's how they make money.
Yeah.
But to add to that, another facet of our system that you don't see in most other industrialized nations is that our system is privately owned. In most other nations, it's either not at all privately owned, or it's so not really like a half and half, but it's mixed where there might be some private ownership, but it's heavily regulated and heavily managed by the government.
Well, I mean, it's not as there is privately owned portions of the incarceration system in this country, but almost
all of it is privately owned.
Yeah, almost all of it. John. Yeah, even like the state institutions, the state penitentiaries, most of those are privately owned companies.
The state funds private corporations to run these institutions.
Yeah,
and it's sad.
Yeah, the privatization of America really has destroyed America. So, and that's a major right talking point. Is privatization is something that they've always been for. And it's basically just creating a stranglehold on markets. That's the intent behind it, and it in my opinion, stymies any kind of innovation.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, but going back to the death penalty, I'm not sure if that is a causal effect or just a correlation. But yeah, I mean, Norway, like one murder a year, maybe, stuff like that. And it just seems to me that when you have, well, we're not the most violent country. At least I can say that. It seems that not trying to be racist here, but it seems like the Middle East has the most violent countries because of the purity culture and all that.
It depends on how you're defining violence, right? So, like, if you're talking like violence when it comes towards human rights, I would definitely agree. When you're talking about violence, just individual violence, I don't think that there's any country more violent than the United States of America. We are killing people at rates that is just fucking crazy. We're not even technically at war right now, and we are killing people right fucking now. It's crazy. We've got troops everywhere. We have our hands involved in every fucking conflict going on in the fucking world. I would actually make an argument that the United States of America has more blood on its hands than any country in the history of the world.
The United States of America has more blood on its hands than the fucking British Empire.
Yeah, I would totally agree with that, yeah.
Hey, real quick, now this is just from 2013. It was the first thing that popped up, so I don't know what it would be currently. But I Googled what percentage of the prison system is privately owned. The answer that came back from Private Prisons Wikipedia, 8.4%.
That does not seem right at all.
Seems kind of low to me, too.
What is it?
That's from 2013, though, so it's probably higher now.
I just want to see. Would you be willing to link that? Just because I'd really actually be interested in checking out that link.
All right, let me open it again. I closed that window, but it was something private. It was Wikipedia. It was a Wikipedia link.
Okay.
Private systems or private prison systems or something. Let me. Wait a minute. I could just bring it up in my history.
Well, also, the other countries that don't have such violence as the United States does, I'm talking the European countries here, they actually treat prisoners like they're, people.
Slaves?
Not like animals.
Oh, you're talking other... Okay, yeah, no, yeah, 100%.
So, we have to, people are people. You can't treat people like animals and expect them to come out 20 years from being treated like an animal and go back into society as a civilized person. That just doesn't make any fucking sense.
Have you ever read the book Dune?
No.
All right, so in Dune, one of the major premises of the book is that there are certain planets or certain systems, right, that provide very harsh environments, and those are the perfect environments to raise a killing force inside of, right? So, like, the planet Arrakis would be one of these planets that has these very harsh conditions, and the Fremen, just by living on this planet and surviving on this planet, are far more superior warriors compared to a lot of people that have trained their entire lives for it. And that's kind of, I think, what's happening in the world here a lot. Like you see, especially in the prison system here, this breeding of a force of people that have seen the worst things you could... Literally, Americans that have never went to war but experience warlike conditions, right? So... you're taking people from ghettos and gangbanging situations that are already pretty much organized, and then placing them into an area where you're dehumanizing them completely, and they're seeing the absolute worst of the worst. If you've ever been to prison, John could probably attest to this. It's a fucking war zone, right? So they're breeding a whole generation of human beings that are going to have a different kind of feeling than your normal human being. Once you've been inside prison, like me, I personally, I don't fear things like I think normal human beings do, because I've had to survive in prison. You just stop fearing. I don't fear anymore.
Once you've been inside prison, and once prison has been inside you.
Can I comment on something that John said really quick with what he said from the link? So John is correct. But here's the rub. in 2017, it's 8.2%, which I think is about roughly the same number as what his 2013 Wikipedia article said. But the number of people housed in private prisons since 2000 has increased 39%. The big thing here is in Arizona, over the same time period, it's increased 479%. In Indiana, it's 310%. In Ohio, it's 277%. In Florida, it's 199%. In Tennessee, it's 117%. And in Georgia, it's 110%. So he is right with that number. But we have seen quite frankly, a drastic increase in the amount of inmates that are housed under a privatized system.
Right, and while those numbers, let's point out though, and while those numbers are disturbing, hundreds of percent increases in certain areas, if the total is still under 9%, so the vast majority of prisoners are not in private institutions.
Mm-hmm.
But the idea that the prison system would in any way be privatized is just crazy to me. I mean,
wow, I'm looking at this map here,
and I'm telling you one thing. And I was a former folk nation, right? Like I was former folk nation. I believed in Larry Hoover like a motherfucker. If Donald Trump pardons Larry Hoover before he leaves office, this country should riot. This is a cold-blooded murderer who continued to run folk nation well after he was in prison, continued to order the murders of other human beings. Kanye West lobbied for Donald Trump to get this dude a fucking pardon. If Donald Trump gives Larry Hoover a pardon before he leaves office, this country should be in a fucking uproar. I'm putting that out there right now.
I wanted to say really quickly that I'm looking at the map of the proportion of incarcerated population in private prisons as of 2017. And with the exception of, I would say, Colorado, Hawaii, and California, most of these states are fairly Republican conservative states. I don't think that's a coincidence. There's all of.
Oh, we just lost Leo.
Leo, you just died out. I think his point was, that it's funny that the private prison system is in majority Republican states. That is kind of interesting.
It's in literally all of the South except for Louisiana and Arkansas. Those are the only two states where there are no private prisons. I mean, and then you've got other states like Montana, Idaho, Wyoming, South Dakota. I mean, these are explicitly conservative states. A lot of states that aren't really, like California is a pretty liberal state, but at the same time, it's massive. So that it's on the lower end of that percentage, from 0.1% to 10%. So it's somewhere between there.
I love how our buddy Sunflower shows up in the live chat, and his first fucking post is, "What's this wacky conversation about?"
No. Anyway, you got to do it. You got to do it in his voice. What's this wacky conversation about? I'm sorry. I'm just fucking with you, Sunflower.
Our prison system is just fucked over, and it needs an overhaul. But I think the first thing that needs to change, aside from treating prisoners like people, is to have kind of like a transition period where people who are scheduled to get out of prison in about 6 months or so actually go to classes to figure out how to live in the world today and not the world they left whenever they were sentenced.
So the problem with the system is the system runs exactly how they want it to, right? So
100%.
I mean, you're talking about, if they wanted to rehabilitate prisoners, it would be a far cheaper system to do it that way. And how do you rehabilitate prisoners? Well, you educate them, and then, if that's the answer, then how do you stop crime? And it's through education. And the moment, the reason why we have so much adamant crime in this country, outside of the just crony fucking capitalism that runs it is because we kind of privatize education as well. So a certain select subgroup is going to get the best education to where the rest is going to get a mediocre education, and then other subgroups are going to get absolutely atrocious education. We need to make education not only public but fair and equal across the line, and then we also need to publicize higher learning, because once you have that, once a certain element of society can't get that higher learning, you have a huge inequality gap there. That you're gonna have that elite class because they have access to learning that a subset of the population doesn't. That's something that's always existed. Well, if you want to solve crime in America, you educate people. Unfortunately, one party in this country is deeply dead set against education. Period.
Well, and and another good point for that argument is kind of a different form of another argument I've made. Like, okay, is that you have this segment of population, as you said, that unless there's extraordinary circumstances, doesn't have access to that higher education, and then a segment of those people, end up going down the road of becoming criminals. This segment of humanity that doesn't have access to higher education, it would be better for humanity if they did have access to higher education, okay? Because out of that pool of people that doesn't have access to higher education, there could be a motherfucking mind that, if given the opportunity, they might have the answer to the cure for cancer, if they went down that pathway. They might have the answer to, the energy problems or, global, whatever. I mean, because you just never know which human mind, if given the resources, is going to solve like a big problem or come up with some groundbreaking new technology or idea.
If I may piggyback off of what John was just saying there, because the point he makes is 100% true, but we can even take that a step further. If we don't ensure a solid and utilitarian education, an education that actually does something that's tangible for people, what are we going to do?
We lost him again.
And engineers.
There you are.
I have no idea what's going on. Like that's just weird. Anyway, what are we going to do?
Wait, you need to repeat the last three sentences because you roboted out on us.
Okay, so if we don't ensure a substantive, a tangible education for people, what are we going to do when in the future we need doctors and engineers and physicists and teachers, lawyers, all of these fields, these jobs, these careers that require a higher education? They're just going to dwindle because nobody can afford it, and nobody wants to go into debt tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars to get that education. So what people don't understand, and this is an argument that I try to make with a lot of people that are generally opposed to it, is with things like tuition-free higher education, you're not just giving people free college. You're literally investing in the future of your nation. You're ensuring that there are people that can go and get the requisite qualifications to carry out all of the various activities that our society depends on 100%.
Yeah, and giving access people to knowledge, while it makes them very educated and quite capable of living on their own, and not so much in need of government. Like that is your solution to small government. Like, you don't want a big government. You have an independent, free thinking society that can take care of themselves. They don't want that. They say the shit, but they don't want this shit. They don't want to reform the prison system. They don't want to rehabilitate prisoners or stop crime from happening, because if they did, they could have done all of that a long time ago. This has always been about setting up that oligarchy class. My thing is, this is where I'm at, is, do we revolt or can we do it peacefully? Because that's my fundamental qualm now. Because as I spoke earlier, I'm very anti-violence, but I don't see.
Can I provide a quote?
I really don't see any peaceful means here. If we want serious change, history says you make the change, you don't wait for it.
Can I provide really?
Yeah, you can. But real quick,
I wanted
to comment. Yeah, go ahead. But I just want to comment on what you just said real quick.
Go ahead.
I mean, what a beautiful point came out of that. The idea that, yes, these teabaggers and Republicans who scream about smaller government, there's the solution. The more you educate your populace, like Knock just said, the less that they are going to rely on the government. I mean,
they will be able to make a living. Yes. And the quote that I wanted to say is, I want to say it's from Lyndon Johnson. I can't remember. It was a previous president, or like big political figure in the United States, and he said, "Those who make peaceful revolution impossible will make violent revolution inevitable."
Yeah.
And we're on the brink of that in the United States. But I also wanted to comment on the whole big government, small government thing. Both Knock and John make a good point. The more capable an individual is, the more they can do on an independent basis, the less they rely on help, namely from the government. But the thing with this whole, I'm against a big government, I believe in small government, is a smaller government actually isn't better, even if that seems somewhat counterintuitive. And this is the reason why. A smaller government, by definition, inherently concentrates more power into fewer hands. This is why Hitler disbanded democratic institutions. Mussolini disbanded democratic institutions. They shrunk the size of their governments because they knew the broader a government is, the more equitably distributed the power that it is given is. So
I believe the more watchdogs you have, the better. Period.
Exactly.
Like, period.
And that's what they want people thinking, that a smaller government is better, so that we can cut regulations, cut taxes, cut these watchdog institutions, so that all these billionaires and these politicians can continue to get away with literally violating the Constitution and the most fundamental laws that this country was founded upon.
Well, they actually want a theocracy. That's what they
100%.
want.
Well, no, I don't even think that they want a theocracy. I think they're willing to use a theocracy to get what they want, which is what they're already getting. Like fucking Elon Musk made $100 billion since the pandemic started. $100 billion fucking dollars.
That's one of the billionaires. Collectively, the wealthiest, what is it, like 6 or 8 people have seen their wealth increase by over $1 trillion during this.
Disgusting.
While at the same
I
time,
am never going to see $100 billion
bills or anything.
Like, it is absolutely disgusting. Like, how... America is a dream. It is a fucking illusion they sell you. And go ask any Native American, the American dream. Ask them about that, because the American dream is an illusion. This is a fucking oligarchy that where very few people make the money based upon the sweat of everybody else, and we struggle and we struggle to feed our fucking kids, and they have everything, and now they're trying to eat up the fresh water sources because they understand the world that they fucked up needs its fresh waters, and they're going to be able to profit off of that moving into the future. It's disgusting.
You want to know what I say about the American dream? The American dream was a convoluted idea that was sold since the beginning to well-off white people to get them to ensure that they are complacent with the way that the system runs, so that they don't gain a level of solidarity with the demographics of people who are significantly worse off than them. If I get you to believe that the system's great, you're going to do good, it's going to benefit you, then you won't engage in solidarity with those who don't get the same as you. That's what the American dream was. I know it's a hot take here, guys. Hot take.
I agree.
The American brain is racist. It was an idea sold to well-off white people to keep them complacent with the way things are.
Yeah, if you think that you have that chance to be like them, well, then you're gonna go along. So because you might just work your whole life and make supervisor one day.
Hey, you know what? It's a lot like the mentality of playing lottery.
Yeah, it is, dude. It's and we go to work every single fucking day. We break our backs. We break our fucking backs. We come home and we're sore, and we fix our dinners for our kids, and they go home and they ain't got to do all that shit.
What do you mean they go home? They were home the whole fucking time.
Did you know?
So now I went into like hate the rich phase of my stream here. I'm gonna mute. I'm gonna try to chill the fuck out.
Who'd we lose?
That was free. Come back in.
She commented in the private chat. Just wanted to wish John a happy birthday. Been busy day. Just got home. Take care.
Yeah,
Thanks,
and I'm raging. So,
hey, and you know what? Here's the other thing too. Okay, the idea of the American dream is that they make everybody believe they can climb the ladder to success. Okay, and then they diminish like the more menial jobs in the society. But the fact of the matter is, if everyone climbed the ladder of success, there would be nobody left to do the actual fucking work. Okay. So that's why, and that's why that the politicians and that have been railing for the past several years that minimum wage needs to be $15 or $20. It's because any grown-ass adult that has a family that is out there and contributing to society by having a full-time job or even more than 40 hours a week deserves a wage that allows them to, have a reasonable lifestyle for them and their family. Okay, yes. So the idea, they talk about, well, that's an entry-level job. Fuck you. An adult has to do it.
There's no such thing. I always say somebody, and you make such a great point there, John. And just to add on to that, somebody has to do that job because it's that job they're doing does not in any way, shape, or form imply that they deserve to live in poverty. That is the most inhumane and barbaric mentality that somebody could hold to.
I never understood that. Like, I saw this this thing on Facebook where people were making fun of this 27-year-old woman for working at McDonald's, right? And I'm like, why are you making fun of her? She probably stresses the fuck out and struggles and figures out ways that you couldn't imagine just to feed her fucking children. And she goes to work every goddamn day in a job she probably fucking hates, that she tells herself, oh, I'm better than this. But she lives in reality and does it. And you're going to sit here in judgment of this fucking person. What kind of human are you? What kind of fucking human are you?
Check this out. Over 30 years ago, I'm a manager in a grocery store. One day, my tooth starts hurting like a motherfucker, like pain like I've never felt before. I go to the office. I ask one of the secretaries, I don't care where it is, please find me a dentist I can go to right now. And so she finds a place close to the grocery store. I get my car. I go over there. I'm like, Doc, pull this tooth, man. Like, it hurts. Yeah, but we could do this and that, the root canal and all. I'm like, dude, like, why are you arguing with me? I'm in fucking pain. Pull a tooth. And then finally, I said, all right, look, dude, do whatever you want. Just make the pain go away. And so he does like the preliminary of a root canal and then schedules me for a visit like a few days later to finish it off. And so between the time I left the dentist's office and was supposed to go back, the inside half of my tooth fell out. So I got the bill and I sent him a check for $25 because that's how much an extraction was at the time. Motherfucker, when he gets that check, he calls me at work. He himself, not his fucking secretary, the doctor, the dentist himself calls me at work and, asks me what this is all about. I said, look, I was sitting in the chair. I'm telling you, you yanked the tooth. I'm the customer. I'm telling you, you yanked the tooth. You're arguing with me until I finally agree with you because I just want the pain to go away. And then 2 days later, half of my tooth falls out of my head. Ergo, you did an extraction, not a root canal. So that's why I sent you a check for $25, and that's all you're getting. He starts in with I had to do this and do that. And like, it cost me this much to get this degree and everything. I said, look, dude, explain to me. I'll accept your argument there. Explain this. Like I said, 30 years ago on the phone, I'm standing in the office at my grocery store. I said, dude, explain to me how your contribution to society is any more important than a ditch digger's contribution to society. He said, what the hell are you talking about? I'm like, look, I would make the argument that a ditch digger's contribution to society is even more important than your contribution to society. Maybe even more important than a brain surgeon's contribution, okay? Because everybody is affected by ditches that are dug. You have to have ditches dug every day in society. All forms of, cities and states, ditches need to be dug. They have an effect on more human lives than a brain surgeon or a dentist who sees, how many people a week. And yes, like I want the best brain surgeon out there if my brain needs operated on, but they're in reality affecting way less of humanity than some motherfucker that digs ditches for a living.
Yep.
Okay,
Yeah.
check this out. I used to work at Walmart. I am not kidding you. The CEO of Walmart makes more in 1 hour than the average employee makes in a whole fucking year.
Oh yeah, yeah. I have done I've done a wide variety of work throughout my life. I've been a roofer. I was a roofer down in North Carolina. We had 120 degree. It'd be like 120 degrees on top of that goddamn roof. You know what I'm saying? Like hot. And you're just doing it because you have to. I've been a garbage man, right? Like the worst job I ever had was working on my uncle's garbage route. It was, you smelled like trash. You never got rid of the smell ever. You made really good money. I mean, in standards of like what people fucking make, right? Like, if you're thinking about it, really is $20 an hour good money? No,
yeah.
Well, based on your conditioning, yeah, because yeah. $20, that's a lot, right? But not really, not really.
Yeah, I get you.
You smell like ass your whole life, and you deal with maggots and the worst of the worst, and you're looking at people's shit. Their shit, what they throw away. So
there was something.
It was admirable. Like, dude, I worked harder on that route. We would run from trash can to trash can to get it done as quick as we could. Like I took pride in that. I smelled like shit, but I took pride in it, and it was an important job because if somebody ain't getting that goddamn trash, guess what? Your house smells like that shit, right? Like, so it is. You have to understand that what people do in life to make their money, that's their survival, and we should make it at least survivable.
Exactly. I've always asked people, what if you bitch and complain about, if somebody doesn't want to get paid so low, they shouldn't work at McDonald's. What if they like working there? I'm not saying that anybody or everybody does, but what if somebody does?
Yeah.
They shouldn't be allowed to make a living off of that. Another thing I wanted to say, and you anybody who's on Facebook or Twitter might have seen this because it's a meme that's floated around for a few years now, is how can you denigrate how can you demand that somebody provide you a service while at the same time denigrating the person that provides you that service?
Oh, it's called shopping at Starbucks.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, real quick, I just want to say welcome to Aunt Jur and somebody else too. I can't remember, but anyway, Aunt Jur. I'm the one who I'm. Is that so 19 on Twitter there, and you posted the other day that inevitably something to the effect that inevitably I'm going to DM a picture of my tits to the wrong person, and I'm the one that commented my DMs are open.
Well, Hey, if you're single, go for it. But yeah, to add to Leo's point, right?
But I love that. I love that. Wait a minute. I love that, Puff. How you're trying to imply that because you're married, you don't look at other women's tits.
No, I can't. I just can't request or openly put out an invitation for people to send me their breasts. If they just accidentally land in my inbox, I'll be like, "Hey, babe, come check this out." But if there's any form of solicitation, dude, I'm sleeping in the snow, bro. But anyway, happy birthday. That was the main point I want to get home in time for. But yeah, so like Leo said, right? People get on people for working at McDonald's, right? But what do people complain about when they're at McDonald's and they get shitty service? What, y'all ain't got a manager who knows how to fuck train y'all? Well, how do they expect people to get to managership? Like they leave polls where they're making like $35 an hour folding sweaters. Inside joke for the people that know. Anyway, they move from Kohl's in mid-level management over to McDonald's to make less money, and then they got to hold on to that position for 2 years as a head store manager to be offered their own store. But then again, they shouldn't stay there for 2 years because it's McDonald's, and they shouldn't waste their life managing at a McDonald's, right?
I don't want you to fuck my order up, but at the same time, I believe that you should be paid so low that you don't care if you fuck my order up.
I want world-class service, but you shouldn't be working here if you got a fucking high school diploma because that's your fault.
Yeah,
right?
It's so hypocritical. Like I said, and I know everybody in here's probably heard me say it a million times, but it's so true. If we could harness all of the hypocrisy of American conservatives, it would rival the fucking sun in its power output.
Just and to relate to not talking about being a roofer, right? I'm an HVAC tech, right? So right now, no heat calls. I will leave in the middle of the night to go do somebody's no heat call because Leo, you got smacked with that same snowstorm yesterday, right?
Yeah.
That thing dropped a foot of snow on us in like an hour. So, and then it rained and sleeted overnight. Today is just a terrible nightmare.
The South getting snow? Like, we don't have no snow.
No, we're in Iowa. We're
cornfields and conservatives. That's where we're at.
Iowa, we got
that's South. I'm in Michigan. That's South, yo.
We're in the Midwest, whatever. Anyway, we're close enough to the Great White North. We're just south of Hoth, all right?
I'm from the Great White North. You know what?
We have no snow right now. Fucking none.
Okay, but we're just south of Hoth, and the weather's pretty wrong right now. It's pretty raw. That's all I'm saying. So anyway, I had went and did two no heat calls at a apartment complex in the hood. It was bad. And but the weather was so bad that even gangsters was like, "Can you please hold the door for me?" And, so it's really bad weather. That's when
when a gangster asks you to hold the door for him, it ain't good outside.
No, it's very cold. When your gangster goes out the window, it is bad weather. Anyway, so I'm did the 2 no heat calls. I'm heading back home, right? Because I was there for 1 no heat call. My boss shows me up and he's like, "Hey, so yeah, there's another one you got to run to as well." I was like, "All right, cool, whatever. I'm out here. I'll go over to this other building and knock it out." I'm driving home. I'm literally a block from the house in that blizzard, and I get a text message from the company owner. "Hey, yeah, so I put those 3 heat calls on your schedule, man." I texted him back a third, and he was like, "Yeah."
Oh, hey, Knock.
So they just expect you to turn around. Knock, you know what it's like. I was in a blizzard. They were like, "Go kill yourself and get these people heat on."
Hey, real quick. They're saying in the chat, Knock, that the title says that it's John Peterson's birthday.
It does.
Oh,
Yes.
shit.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
It would only be better if it was like Pervertisons.
Yeah. Well, and then now here's 2 things from the chat. One, somebody's saying that Aunt Jur is sus. Like, I don't know what that means. Why is that? What?
They're acting suspicious.
That he's an imposter. I thought
Sus is short for suspicious.
You know, I was so worried about, getting the last part of your name right, John, that I didn't even look at the first part of your name.
Oh, well, I would. Oh, yeah. Well, and then the other thing is, now I see that our buddy Sunflower here showed up, and he just a few minutes ago posted in chat, "How can abortions be a right if they require a trained medical professional to perform them.
They don't. They just require a brass coat hanger.
Wait a minute, but my question is
why are Christians so obsessed with abortions?
How is that even a valid question? Like, how does that? Do
Christians go to bed at night like dreaming about abortions?
Well, I mean, it's not even just abortions, like anything. Okay, so because a trained professional has to perform it, that makes it not a right. Like, what? How does that? What does that follow? That's so non sequitur. Like,
do you have wet dreams thinking about abortions?
Before Sunflower jumps in here really quick, I just wanted to say I totally think that abortion should be illegal because I believe that the government should have the right to tell you what you can and can't do with your own body, but I'm not going to wear a mask because the government doesn't have the right to tell me what I can and can't do with my own body.
Well, here's my question. Right?
Go ahead, Sunflower. I want to hear why. What's the idea of that post?
Yeah, sure. So, I mean, it's a common thing brought up that, like, the difference between a right and a service is a right access to a service or is a right being provided the service?
It's not even the need.
What does a right have to do with services?
Wait a second. It's not even the need for a service. It's just like a bad tooth. You can pull a bad tooth at home, but you do run the chance of dying from the blood loss that's incurred, right? Okay, wait a second. And I've been witness to when I was a teenager, because I grew up in a really fucked up neighborhood, right? In a really fucked up city. So I was witness to both a girl that took out a baby gave her home abortion with a co-hanger, and then I seen another one where she begged her homegirl to go to town on her belly like a speed bag, and she's Mike Tyson. And they did it right there in front of my face. Neither one of those required a trained professional in any way, shape, or form. But they should have had access to a legal, safe, and available medical practitioner to do that, where they weren't risking their lives.
And I've also been around, a woman that suffered an abortion due to God, because she went in the bathroom one night at work and came out holding her fetus. God decided to abort that baby.
Yeah, and just for clarification, wait a second. And just for clarification, neither one of those babies were from promiscuous activity. One of those babies was from her father-in-law raping her. The second baby was from an uncle raping her. So both of those got raped those were both babies from rape, and they could not obtain a legal, safe, and available medical practitioner to perform that without going through amazing hoops and hurdles and being shamed publicly.
Okay, that's nice. So if you're going to bring up a question I asked, I imagine.
No, I'm saying, what about a 14-year-old?
Wait, Puff. He still hasn't even been able to explain what his.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, let's get to his wet dream here.
Okay. Right. Okay. So you brought up an interesting thing, Puff. You said, well, there's two different things going on here. So one person, or at least I don't know who said this, but someone said, should I have the right to attempt an abortion, or should a person have the right to attempt an abortion on themselves with like a coat hanger? That's obviously like,
I don't think anybody said that.
Well, look, I'm saying what I heard, but the general point is that should people have the right to attempt abortions on themselves? And that's a different conversation than should you have the right to have access to have an abortion that's cheap, affordable, safe, these things. That's a different conversation, right? Because that is now
when are you going to get to what that post was about? Why did you post that statement?
I'm aborting weed right now.
Something that was reminiscent of like demeaning someone's job.
36 trimester?
What? No, it was
not 346 trimester. Are you aborting that weed?
Wait a minute. Wait. Now we're getting to it. Okay.
Yeah, the crackhead.
So your post. So wait a minute. So your post came out of our discussion of all jobs should be given a level of worth or a level of respect and should be given a livable wage, regardless of how menial the task is. And somehow your mind turned that into, well, then how is abortion all right?
Did I say, well, then how? I just was chiming in. You could have glossed over it and never read it out loud. I didn't like barge in and say like, whoa, guys, halt the conversation.
No, I'm just asking.
Christians always go to the abortion thing, man. It's kind of
my crazy mind went there. Like I left it in the chat and then I didn't revisit it, and then you brought it up, so I followed up. You can't get mad at me for that, you know.
How can abortions be a right if they require? Wait a minute. How can abortions be a right if they require a trained medical professional to perform them? And you're saying, wait a minute, and you're saying that post came out of your head while we were talking about how all jobs should be afforded, livable wages. How does your mind turn what we were talking into the abortion?
So I'm going to lose my leg at some point, right? Like, do I not have an inherent right to lose my leg to a medical doctor that's going to make sure that I survive that procedure?
Well,
or should he just take a hacksaw? And turn it off?
I mean, no, hold on. This is a good question. This gets right down to the core of the issue. So, the question here would be: do you have the right to, solicit the aid of medical professionals? And I'd say yes. That's the right to access to service. But what if there was one doctor in the country who said, I have a weird practice where I don't hack off legs because it's against my religion. Would you be able to?
I wouldn't go to that doctor.
What?
I wouldn't go to that doctor.
Okay, then great. So but this is my point. Then, if abortions are a right,
but there's no part of the argument whatsoever. I'm going to stop you here because there's no part of the argument whatsoever that in any way even broaches an idea that any medical practitioner in any way, shape, or form should or will ever be compelled to perform an abortion that they do not want to perform.
Then how can you make it fast, cheap, and free?
Because there's plenty that want to be able to provide this.
Yeah, there's plenty. How do you make it? How do you do that, Sunflower? You don't fucking butcher Planned Parenthood with some fake fucking propaganda from Project Veritas, as the right has done over the last decade. That's how you fucking do it, my dude.
Hey, real quick, just let me derail this for just a second. I don't know if you'll be able to see it or not, but Aunt Jer finally DM'd me a picture of her tits.
Oh my goodness! Oh, those tits! There's so many tits, dude. Oh,
look at all those tits.
Oh man!
Again, this is where you
what's plump on the bottom? Fat titty.
The access to the abortion is the right, not the abortion itself.
Right. And so that's the thing, is that there's plenty of people it's available, right?
What? So here's the question.
It would be far more available. It's like dentistry, right? That dentistry, there is no requirement for you to go get dentistry whatsoever. There's no requirement for it to be affordable, available, and cheap, right?
It's not
none of that.
Insurance.
But guess what? There's tons of people that are willing and they want to be dentists. Why? Because some of them really want to be dentists just to be dentists to make people's lives better. Other people are like, that's a great fucking
this whole fucking abortion thing.
People are always gonna want to be.
I'm gonna be straight up fucking honest. This whole abortion thing stems from your false belief in a soul. I don't give a fuck about your false belief in a soul. Give me a reason why I should take the rights away from a woman to have a medical procedure that she wants to have. Why should I support that?
And it's the free market. It's the free market. If we make abortions legally, we don't have to put in the clinic. We don't have to put in the clinic. We don't have to make the doctors. We don't have to do any of that. Let's go by free market standards, right? If we make them illegal and the ability for them to be accessed, right? That's all we have to do, right? Stop the legal hurdles and everything. Because there is a market for abortions, at least in this country, if not every country in the world, there is a market for it. So someone is going to meet the needs of that market based on capitalist
Christian comes
ideology.
talking about abortion and the atheists go off on abortion. Holy shit! This was gonna fucking happen.
Literally, you just made a Marxist embrace capitalism because your argument is so fucking stupid.
All right, tough guy. Can I finally respond? After you monologue for fucking 12
Yeah, you can respond.
Respond by responding instead of complaining about not being able to respond.
But hey, wait a minute, real quick before you respond, just let me throw a real quick statement into the mix here for you. So I need a medical professional to have my appendix out. I mean, so are you saying I shouldn't be able to have my appendix out? I mean, my appendix, if my appendix goes fluey, I mean, what do I have a right to pull that appendix out of my body and let it die? I mean,
are you that fucking dumb? This is a serious question.
I mean, we can be fairly dumb.
Like, do you think that's analogous? I'm serious.
Why isn't it? I'm allowed to go have a portion of my body removed. Why can't a woman?
Okay, great. Now, can I fucking answer this shit panel before you guys interrupt me 5 fucking times again? You stupid assholes.
Well, I probably need to wash my ass.
Procedure. Wait a second. Is this about it being an elective procedure? Please, nobody else on the panel answer except for him. Sunflower, is this because they're choosing to have an abortion?
Well, yes, that's what you
brought up. Hold up. You said yes. Now, knock.
Wait, no, I'm going to respond now.
Like,
can you even come, though?
Yes. You filthy mongrel. You are filthy.
You said yes.
Your hair
can
is
you
caked
even
in
come,
green
though?
chalk. You are a dirty person.
Question. I'm trying to go.
It's my turn to talk. It's my turn to talk. You.
No, I just asked you a question.
Do you ejaculate when you masturbate?
It's my turn.
No.
You're a Led Zeppelin fan.
You said you have to get your leg removed, right? Eventually, you're gonna have to get your leg removed, right?
It's my turn.
That is considered a optional procedure, right?
No,
that's
it's
considered. No. Wait a second. His leg getting removed, he gets to choose when he does that, and ultimately, he gets to choose whether or not he actually does that. That is considered an elective procedure. Something that you can choose not to do is an elective procedure. So, it's an elective procedure that he can get his leg removed. However, why should he have access and availability, and why should it be legal? It's an elective procedure. Why should everybody ever be compelled to be in a position?
You fucking rat of a person. Okay.
Hey, Sunflower, let me tell you something, okay? You can answer. It's your turn to talk. Everybody let him talk. Let him have a few minutes. But if you don't stop with the fucking insults, dude, I'm going to reach right through the internet and choke you out.
Go ahead.
I'm going to reach right through the internet and choke you out.
Okay, go ahead. Okay, so if this guy would stop talking for 5 minutes, okay? So if your leg needs amputation, it can eventually become like gangrenous or infected, and you will die. So you
same with abortion. If you don't get it aborted, it might
wait,
Leo, and kill you.
Leo, you know that's false equivalence. What more often? Okay, what more often?
It literally isn't.
What more often results in death? A limb that's been severed and failing to amputate it and seal it properly, or just a standard pregnancy? Which one of these is more of a likely?
You're assuming we're talking about standard pregnancies. You're assuming we're talking about standard pregnancies.
Well, yeah.
What state does she live in? How much pollution is she breathing?
Like, what percentage of pregnancies are just purely because of choice and not because of threat of the mother's life?
Most are not. Nope.
Yeah.
Nope.
The vast overwhelming majority of pregnancies are unplanned and unrequested.
That's not what I said. I said threat to them, like it could cause the mother to die.
Yes,
there's inherent risks to carrying any child to term.
No, but there's a sizable portion of the population that are in the position of one of services partners, where she can get pregnant very easily. However, if she tries to carry that baby to term, what's going to happen is that baby is going to kill her on the delivery table, and the baby's not going to make it through the fucking delivery itself. So both of them are going to die. However, where they live is very hard for her to get an abortion should she need to, because it is now a life-saving procedure, because that state considers it an elective procedure, even though if she does not get it done, she will, no questions asked, die.
Okay, can someone tell Malibu's Most Wanted over here to fucking just stop?
That was good, yo. That was good, though.
Like, you clearly just like to hear yourself rant. You're not saying any kind of value or.
That was a good one, Doc. That was
Hey, so wait a
minute. Did Sunflower just say to somebody else, you clearly want to just rant?
Yeah. I'm just trying to get a word in every few minutes if I can. This guy just loves to talk.
Will you answer my question?
Some points.
Well, yeah, we'd let
Will
you
you answer my question?
Second questions.
I have a question. Do you ejaculate when you masturbate?
No.
I didn't think so. You're like 12, right?
Yeah.
I'm pretty
Wait a
sure.
minute.
I'm pretty sure you're
on
12.
record
asking a
Wait a minute.
that question.
It still comes out clear, dude. Don't worry.
Where does it? Hold on. Where does it go? Where does it go if it doesn't?
Now you're on record.
I'm going to be talking to Jonathan Guzman soon, and I guarantee you he ejaculates when he masturbates.
Hey man, he just make the banana cry.
Yeah, I just think it's funny that Puff brought up dentistry to further prove that it's like, dentistry is largely a cosmetic field with some.
Why
medical
do Christians
overlap.
why are Christians so worried about like unborn children when their God like literally murdered unborn children just like on a whim because he decided he didn't like human beings anymore?
Yeah.
Okay, I've got something to say.
Oh, I'm excited.
What you doing, big kitty? Big kitty boy.
Why?
I need to mute myself.
Why do you people insist that a woman bring a child into the world, but she has no means to support that child? You're making the fucking problem here.
Well, otherwise they couldn't punish you for enjoying sex.
Exactly.
The funny thing is, I actually don't think abortion should be outlawed at all. I've never had that position in my life. I literally just don't like.
Well, why are you so triggered by it then?
Oh well, I asked a pretty like it got overlooked in the chat.
Christians always go to abortion. I find that intriguing because like their God just like seems to love kill babies.
It's a polarizing issue. It gets
I mean, honestly though, like isn't every single baby that dies, like isn't all of these abortions, isn't that on God himself? Didn't he design all of this shit? Didn't he plan all of this shit?
Is it okay if we do it with a bear?
I mean, he is a blood god.
Is it okay if we get two bears? Is it okay if we get two bears and we just have them go into the abortion wing of the hospital and start clawing babies out? It was okay in the Bible. God said it was okay way to kill children. You mocked a bald man. You can kill them with a bear. An angry set of bears. So if you can kill children with angry bears and it's acceptable form of killing children, then by God's hand, is it okay if we use that method now?
According to God, if you don't like people, you can just drown them.
Okay, Puff. When's the mixtape coming out? When am I going to hear you on Hot 97?
Are you getting racist?
How is that racist? He's white.
You can't. White people can't be racist against white people if they're. You can't use You can't use culture in a racial manner if that person's white.
Sunflower. Racism can be more than just actual ethnicity. It can be a cultural issue as well. You
okay, Leo, explain how my comment was just racist. Then no one else answered for him. Leo, explain it.
Because you made a cultural issue that Puff is somehow a rapper based on probably the way that he talks.
Wait a minute. I can't believe it. I'm going to come in here and I'm going to defend Sunflower. How is mixtape fucking racist? When does the mixtape come out? I don't get.
Thank you.
I don't see how.
Who is more likely to make a mixtape, a white guy or a black guy?
I was totally making a joke.
Literally, hold on. Mixtapes have been around since like 50 years before you were born, man.
Well, yeah, but like mixtapes, that's a cultural thing. It's a cultural thing.
Yeah,
it was the theme of the picture he's trying to paint with.
I can go to the gas station next door and pick up a fucking hot ass mixtape. I guarantee it right now.
Dude, Puff speaks rhythmically. He literally talks like he's rapping. That's why I said it. That's nothing else
I know,
to do with
you're
anything
being
else.
fucking racist.
How the fuck is that racist?
Oh my god! I just explained how it's racist. Race has nothing to do with ethnicity. Can do with
I've heard
culture as
white
well.
rappers, Asian rappers, black rappers, Hispanic rappers.
Wait.
It transcends race.
Wait a minute. Do you hear in rap? Is that what's going on here? I think you hear in rap.
When Puff talks, yeah.
Wow.
These are my kind of conversations. I'm a
bro. I've never seen somebody's worldview color their ears, bro. Shit. Your fucking worldview glasses are auto tuning your ears. I need that shit, man.
Hey, Sunflower,
I got a question.
I got a question. Yours. Your voice keeps getting muffled like every few sentences. Are you sucking a cock right now when you talk to us?
No, I'm not. I've heard that problem happens before on my mic. I'm going to switch mics. I'll mute myself. But no, I'm not. To the record, no, that's not why it's happening.
It's called eating an asshole.
Oh, hey, Red Fang. Our apologies. We're limited to 6 people in the room right now.
I've got a
stay there.
question
We'll
for
work you. What's that?
Go ahead.
I got a question for Sunflower. Sunflower, how is it that every time you come into this fucking room, we have a dumpster fire?
All right, so Red Fang is here.
Can you guys hear me now?
If you expect him to speak permanent, how
real
else
quick,
did he like the
real quick, guys. Red Fang is here. Real quick, Red Fang is backstage. I'm gonna step backstage and let Red Fang come in. Okay. All right. We good?
Yeah, Sunflower, you're
goody.
It sounds like you're really close to your mic and you're really loud like me right now.
Well, I mean, mics are kind of penis shaped, so.
Yeah. Shit, I was gonna make a joke and I forgot what it was. Oh, I remember what it is.
Now your mic is really low, Leo.
Do you want to know what it sounds like when a diesel engine is running? It sounds like me eating pussy.
Yeah, I wish you had continued to forget about that. But anyway.
I'm sorry, I had to.
Happy birthday, John.
Hey, thank you so much, Red Fang.
Hey, is it any better now or still loud?
Yes, you're good.
No, it wasn't that it was loud. It just it sounded like you were sucking on a cock.
Oh no, I know.
Yeah, it's better.
When I plugged in my new mic, Leo mentioned that it was loud, which I'm sure he was right about because I had to adjust.
Oh yeah, when you first plugged the new mic in, it was outrageously loud. Now it's much better. Yeah.
Okay, great. I'm glad it sounds good. Thanks so much.
Yeah, I mean the only thing wrong with it is that your voice is coming out of it. But anyway,
that was one of your funniest jokes ever, actually, in my opinion. I'm not even kidding. That was
me.
Like, no, John. Like,
well, fuck you too, bitch.
Usually I consider his jokes boomer humor, but that one was like quick. He didn't have to think about it. It was just it flowed. No, Leo, I think your sense of humor is better than John's. No offense, but I think it is.
I can't agree with that. John's sense of humor is different from mine, but John has a pretty goddamn good sense of humor.
I have a pretty wry sense of humor. And
I like yours too. I do.
I missed your question because I was plugging in my new microphone, my really nice top of the line technology that I paid for.
Is it a blue?
No, it's not.
Then it's not top of the line, buddy. Sorry.
I think it's actually blue. It's an Audio Technica. Those are nice.
Okay, yeah, that's not. No, if it's like a Shure, then we can talk. But
I was using the Shure.
Yeah, I was going to say I'd go Shure before Audio Technica.
No, Sunflower, I asked you why the fuck it is that every fucking time you come in here, we have a fucking dumpster fire.
Oh,
but seriously, that AT20C is a badass mic, though.
I have an AT4040, but I would say because I only come in if I'm gonna, cause a ruckus, cause an uproar, cause anarchy in the UK, as the Clash said. Why would I come in just to have if it's an open mic, then I figure I'm gonna, ask the hard questions, ask the hard questions. I'm still.
I don't know.
Wait a minute.
Or you come in here and act like a snowflake because people are trashing you in the comments.
Wait a minute. I find it interesting that he thinks that question he put in the chat was a hard question. I mean,
I don't know. Since he came in, it felt like he was massaging my balls. It wasn't like I was getting hit hard, but it was like a ball massaging and shit. It was great.
I don't know, Sunflower, because you're a decent fucking person, but of course you're not. So we can forget that one.
I actually did have on a legitimately serious note a question for Sunflower. What was the primary point of you bringing up abortion?
Honestly, it just sprung from you had phrased a question in a particular way, and it was something along the lines of I find it so ironic and hypocritical how people can demand things of
demand a service while simultaneously denigrating the person.
Yeah, let him finish his point. Go ahead.
Okay, fair enough, John. But he was just finishing so. Yeah, that's.
No, I'm saying I was telling Leo to let you finish your point.
I know, but I don't think he was making a point. I think he was just correcting the exact thing. But anyway, it doesn't matter. I appreciate the moderation and the phrasing of that point made me think of something. While it's not necessarily analogous to the conversation or even relevant, there's the question of similar phrasing of demanding something as a right, but not requiring someone with expertise beyond yourself to do it. It's
Of
not
course.
exactly the same, but I think it's at least semantically kind of similar, even though the concepts are not really related at all. That's the only reason I posed it. And then after I got asked, I followed up. Maybe I shouldn't have even done it. Maybe I was being a little bit baity, but I didn't mean to turn the whole conversation around.
So, quick follow-up question. You need a stent inserted into your heart. You going to do it yourself? Are you going to go to this dude named John that you met 5 minutes ago who wears a trench coat and hangs out in the back alley? Or would you rather go to like a legitimate hospital and have a professional do it?
They can't hear
this
me.
Is why I was thinking about the question of access to healthcare.
But Sunflower totally did this on
talking point
purpose.
brought up by conservatives that I don't actually
Christians
necessarily
get triggered
agree
about
because it does get muddy. It does get
abortion.
into a gray area of like what's the difference between access to healthcare and just healthcare. If it's just the discretion of the people providing the healthcare, then that gets really ugly really fast because people can lie about why they're refusing you service. It's not an easy question to answer, but I think the easiest way to think about it is like the way we think about like reservoirs, right? And you guys were touching on that too. You could say everyone has the right to walk up to the reservoir and drink from it, but then if you say like, and then people that don't, people that like don't want to get up and move will have servants walk over to them and pour the water into their mouth. Well, that's no longer a right to the water to drink from the reservoir. That's now someone like pouring the cup and the water down your mouth. There's subtleties here. I'm not implying that there's a black and white thing. And as I said before, I don't want to outlaw abortion.
Yeah, hey, real quick. Lisa, I'm gonna put you backstage just for a minute and bring Knock in because I'm gonna be saying my goodnights here.
Damn it, John! It's your birthday.
It's boom o'clock,
Right,
man.
that's exactly why it's my prerogative to leave. But anyway, here, let's bring Knock in. Yeah, so Knock, I'm gonna be heading out, buddy.
All right, man. Happy birthday, John.
Happy birthday to you. This one's for you, buddy.
Hey, happy birthday, John. Nothing but love for me, even though I get really snarky and everyone hates me and thinks I'm an annoying little pet.
I
don't.
I actually enjoy you, Sunflower. You come and talk to me.
For the most part, yeah.
A lot of people don't.
I appreciate
the thing I like about Sunflower is he's not afraid to like actually like push people and challenge them.
How the fuck did my goodbye become about?
Yeah.
All right. John, be safe, man. Just I love you, man. Been a hell of a friend, and just hope you have another happy birthday.
Christ, that's like a fucking goodbye. Like I'm going to fucking commit Harry Carey.
You are like 50.
Oh no,
You're
I
like
live in
57.
Other than Iowa, it's fucking frozen outside. I can walk outside and it's game over, son. So
yeah.
So anyway, I'm gonna
Much
head
love to
out,
you, buddy.
and I'll be talking to everybody real soon.
We love you, John. Stay
All
safe,
right.
stay healthy.
Have a good one, John.
Let me.
okay, so-
I'm gonna be like floating some shit around. So yeah, go ahead, Leo.
So what I had wanted to say earlier was what I wanted to say earlier.
Just a second,
what
Puff,
we mean by
because Puff, you're
access
like
to healthcare.
you're like off the screen right now. So give me 1 second. I'm just I'm like
okay.
I'm sorting.
I know what he's doing.
I'm sorting
Yeah,
everything
Justin,
out.
thanks.
So let me do that, and then let me see where I'm at right now. All right, okay. We are there. Boom. Yeah, I got to do a whole lot of sorting. This is producer shit. It's not pleasant, but it's what I gotta do right now.
Okay. Well.
All right. So go ahead. Everything is good. Go ahead.
Okay, so what we mean by access to healthcare is to not put extra legal hurdles in the way, right?
Or monetary.
What we mean by that is we're not saying, it has to be X number of doctors in the state per population and this, that, and the other. What we're saying is to stop adding hurdles like they're doing in Texas and Alabama, here in Iowa, where they're saying, it has to be this insanely decked out facility with a heart surgeon and a crash team on site and this, that, and the other. Things that would not be required at other places that do minor surgical procedures, aka a dentist's office or something like that, right? And that's what we're saying is to stop putting in arbitrary, unnecessary, unrelated hurdles that do not in any way make the procedure safer. They don't make it better for the person or the environment that it needs to be done in. It negatively affects our economy. It negatively affects our society, and it negatively affects the environment that we have to live in as people, because now we have people that are either burdened by debt taking care of a child that they were not prepared or ready to take care of, or may be taking care of a child that they don't want to be taken care of, and therefore that child is being not treated the way that they should be. It just leads into a whole bunch of stuff. But
Yeah,
what we're saying about access to healthcare
like
to stop.
You could totally be in high school and now your whole life has changed, and you have to start working a job to feed this child instead of finish your education. Shit happens, and we shouldn't judge people for making life decisions. You know what they do in their individual lives shouldn't be anybody else's fucking business.
And see, and this is what I'm saying. Just my last point before you respond, Sunflower, is this. Like he said in high school, right? People do dumb shit in high school. We make dumb decisions in high school. That's where you're supposed to learn from mistakes and shit like that, right? What's another thing that people do in high school? They smoke a cigarette, right? What if you smoked one cigarette in high school and got fucking lung cancer, and then they go, hey, well, you got lung cancer because of a choice that you made. It didn't just naturally happen. You smoked that cigarette. That's how you got lung cancer. So I'm sorry, you don't get a fucking lung transplant. You don't get, that tumor removed. You did that voluntarily. You chose to smoke that cigarette. If you hadn't spread your lips, you wouldn't have cancer right now.
Yeah, that tumor needs you to live.
Yeah, the tumor has rights too, man. But no, what I'm saying is not to go crazy with it. It's just people make mistakes when they're in their youth, right? They make mistakes in high school. That's something they're gonna do.
Puff.
And just give them an opportunity to main reason I say to give it to option to kids is to give them a second chance.
But I never wanted to outlaw it ever.
No. What I'm saying is to address. I'm not saying that you did. I'm not saying you want to outlaw it. What I'm saying is to make it
my position
by access to this healthcare.
My position
is to not put arbitrary, unnecessary hurdles in the place. That's not what we're. And what I'm saying is, I'm trying to assuage your fear that in some way we're talking about X number of medical professionals have to be there on site or willing to do this procedure, or that we're going to compel medical professionals. Because just like if somebody's in a hospital and comes in and their heart is failing, right? That doctor can say, I don't want to perform cardiac surgery on this person with no reason given. They are not compelled to perform that surgery.
That's not necessarily even true.
No, you can do that. You can give up your medical license and you could walk away right there and say, I don't want to do this.
Oh, well, obviously, yeah, you could give up your medical license.
Or you could say, I'm not up to do it right now. My nerves are, you can make a million excuses. They say,
no institution's going to let a surgeon actually perform surgery if the surgeon says, look, I do not think I'm capable of doing this right now. I've been up for 28 hours on the last one. I can't do this right now. I can't do it.
Leo, but what if that's a conservative Christian surgeon and there's a gay person that walks in and this guy's never turned down a surgery in his career, and all of a sudden
legally,
you're going to get some raised eyebrows.
Why are you bringing that up like that's a fucking problem? So yeah, if a gay person comes in and a surgeon says, I'm not going to fucking perform this life-saving surgery on this gay person, fuck that surgeon.
Yeah, I agree with you. That wasn't my point. Though.
But what
was your point?
My point was you guys are acting like people can just sort of turn down things at their discretion with no
not at all
on their career and livelihood. That's obviously not true.
I don't believe that 100%. I do not believe that at all.
Okay,
my position is this. I not only think that all states should have free and easy access to abortion. I think that science should be allowed to do what it needs to do with those stem cells. I think it should be completely opened up.
I could actually answer, but
yeah,
can I make a really
your
quick?
Answers are always dumb.
Can I make a really quick point for Sunflower? I think it might help. So, Sunflower, have you ever worked in a foundry?
No.
Okay. Do you know what an induction furnace is?
I imagine it's a furnace that uses induction heat to heat things up,
and melt them. Yes. Would you ever run one of those? Would you ever operate an induction furnace, not having absolutely no knowledge, knowing that if you make the slightest mistake, not only will you die, but the vast majority of people around you will die. So if somebody came up to you and said, "I want you to run this induction furnace," and you said, "Look, I don't feel confident doing that," are you justified in making that statement?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, but it's even more simpler than that, right? Because there's doctors that don't want to work on feet, so they don't become a podiatrist, right? There's doctors that don't want to work on brains. They don't become a brain surgeon.
No,
They're never ever going to. You're never going to see a proctologist asked to perform a front cerebral hematoma surgery on a front cerebral hematoma.
This isn't even relevant to the conversation.
That's what I'm saying. It is 100% relative because the only people that would be performing in any way, shape, or form an abortion, they're not going to be compelled.
What's the conversation though? Like what even is this fucking conversation? Every time a Christian comes with abortion, this conversation is about morality, right? So
no, I can answer these questions.
Yeah, you could, but I'm speaking. No, this is a fucking conversation about morality.
Easy, Kamala.
You know,
Kamala. I mean,
and I find it ludicrous that these morality conversations centered around abortion always falls on the person advocating for pro-choice, especially when it's conservative people that pretend to care about liberty. You know, this morality conversation that we are having, if you want to have that, it should be centered around the morality of your God that you think you get your fucking morality from. Because you're sitting here special pleading a morality that your personal God does not fucking agree with. Period. I'm like, your God has no problems with killing unborn children. That's a fact.
Not at all. Or children, or just children.
Or babies, or women.
Okay, so I can address this pretty concisely, and that would be that point that I don't actually believe in outlawing abortion. What I'm saying is that when I think about rights to things, I generally, and this is 100% my personal opinion, but I think about like behaviors that people can sort of self-regulate, or are, in my opinion, probably ones that like are conducive to rights that should be afforded to them. And by that, I mean, like, well, I'm sorry, what?
Can I ask a quick question? As it concerns that?
Okay, sure.
Do you believe in right to free speech?
Yes.
Should somebody have the right to be able to walk into a very crowded place and shout fire at the top of their lungs?
The right in this sense would be like the right to do that without punishment, and then that would be like come down to like a jury. Like if that person could prove that they were doing it for a good reason, then
obviously, I mean, I think you understood what I was saying.
Yeah, well, that's why I'd like to finish my point. But again, I don't even know how to directly address my point. What I was saying was like when I say self-regulate, I mean like think about the free needle program. Okay, this is again, it's and I think this is actually similar to the abortion question because it comes down to this idea where people are doing behaviors that in every other instance in which there isn't a subsidized way to sort of like have some sort of backup plan, they would probably die or something like close to death, then this probably isn't a healthy, conducive behavior. And this isn't something that we should conflate with the word right. Like I think about right, like I should have the right to access goods and services as other people do, in ways that are conducive to my own well-being. Now, the idea that that means I should be able to recklessly do whatever I want, and that because there's lesser of evils approaches, like maybe abortion or free needles, that just means that everything is in this sort of, we should look at everything as this kind of like actions are neutral way. That is really just destructive to society, in my opinion. And by the way, I don't even want to outlaw abortion. I just want to sort of reframe the question as like reckless, unprotected sex, I don't think is even viewed as like even mildly risky anymore. I think people are having it so
well. I mean, that's just false because I mean, so everybody understands right now, like unprotected sex and STDs are a thing. I would hope that most people are being responsible. I think most responsible people are, right? So like,
I don't think it works
and all the numbers show that like once you educate people on contraceptions, safe sex, once you actually educate human beings, guess what? They act fairly responsibly. This all comes back to what I was stating earlier. Education is always the key. And yes. The problem is, I could almost understand it. You want to have a morality conversation about abortion and go after abortion. I know you keep saying you're not for outlawing abortion, and yet you're here triggered as fuck about abortion. But outside of all of that, that's fine. Have that morality conversation, but then you go outside of that and attack the ability to educate people when it comes to sex education. This has been a ongoing problem in this country for decades. I'm not talking about you personally. I'm talking about the right and anybody that comes with this bullshit about abortion. If you want to lower the numbers of people having abortion in this country, then you teach sex ed and you teach people how to have sex responsibly. The numbers show this. It is fucking fact, and yet it is the right and the Christians trying to stop people from that because they see contraception as a motherfucking sin.
I also wanted to piggyback off of that. A woman who doesn't want to get...
Oh, no. Oh, what happened to his signal?
He's been roboting tonight. It could be a StreamYard thing. It might not even be Leo at all. It could be a StreamYard thing.
You're back.
Yeah, you're back, Leo. You're back.
Okay, so really quickly, Lisa, because I just wanted to make this point. Most women who don't want to get pregnant but end up pregnant, it's not the woman's fault. It's the man's fault. A woman can't get pregnant unless a man ejaculates inside of her.
Right, and
most men just, I don't want to wear a condom because most men don't give a shit. And like what Knock was saying, this has to do with the education.
Yeah, I have a lot of blame on men. I'm not at any way.
I think unwanted pregnancies, quite frankly, is almost entirely on men.
Well,
personally,
that far, but I'd say that it's at the very least 50-50.
Let's be honest here. If a woman doesn't want to get pregnant, she ain't gonna get pregnant unless a man does something that ends up getting her pregnant, like taking the condom off.
Men have control in that situation, right? Like, we have that responsibility, honestly, and.
Well, wait.
We don't a lot of men just don't, or maybe they just don't have the control. I don't know. Nature be nature, yo, and shit be happening. And we have every single pregnancy is dangerous, essentially. When you're entering into that that pregnancy, you have a chance of losing your fucking life. You can't understand that as a dude. Because that it's not your life on the fucking line.
Exactly. It's not your burden to bear.
Now I have
a question for Sunflower.
But before you ask that question, I want to get in what he was saying. Okay, so with the needle exchange program, that's it's sick how they did this. They painted it as this is a liberal program brought about by liberal people with liberal ideas, right?
There's needles everywhere.
It's not. It's not.
San Francisco is.
Okay, so wait a second. I didn't interrupt you the whole time you were talking.
Yes, you did.
No,
that was me. That was me.
Thank you. So, like I said, the needle exchange program is actually a capitalist solution to a capitalist created problem, which is the rampant drug use of drugs that were manufactured originally and only developed in a medical scenario were then looked at as, hey, we can make money off this. As a capitalist perspective from corporations, they were medical corporations like Pfizer and stuff like that. And we can push this, right? And we're going to have to make these people work and work and work and work. What's the solution? Well, you can't take off work to heal that injury. You're just going to have to take these pain pills. Creates a problem, right? Well, the problem is we have a rampant drug problem. Well, they found out that the medical industry, the hospital or the healthcare industry was losing a ton of money having to deal to treat addicts and to deal with people that were turning up in their emergency rooms and dying or were dead and then had to, by law, be transported to some facility to be recorded as being dead and to try to identify that person because that's how we do in America, no matter how the person dies. And so it was affecting their bottom line. So what was the best solution to affecting their bottom line? To get the state or the public option to foot the bill for a needle exchange program that would vastly reduce the amount of people that would die from drug overdoses and would also reduce the spread of AIDS, which had been covered.
It was started by capitalism. You're just lying now.
No, it was a capitalist.
No, it was not a capitalist decision.
Yes, it
is. All volunteer.
We support this program.
It started out as a volunteer program.
But there's many things that have started out in 1,001 things.
I'm just gonna play
You're
it.
wrong.
I'm not
And you're
big
just lying.
poison
No,
butt.
many things have
Maybe
started
you
as
are.
grassroots organizations, mainly marijuana legalization, until it became capitalist, a profitable situation where they outlined this is the model that we can use to make this thing a profitable situation. They were not willing to let it be legal. It was not illegal because of the Christian thing of you shouldn't soil your body. They just used that to reinforce it. Just like the whole abortion issue, right? It costs money to provide an abortion, period. And most of the time, people that need to seek an abortion are not financially able to pay for that abortion. Therefore, that medical cost is going to be footed by the healthcare industry. The healthcare industry is a for-profit industry, hands down. On the other side of the coin, if they force that baby to be born, that baby has to be raised, and that baby is now in poverty, guess what? Now you have one additional worker added to the workforce that is stuck in destitute poverty. And by statistics and the models that we can lay out, will more than likely never make it out of destitute poverty.
60% of people in poverty will never escape poverty in the United States.
And it's in my crazy Marxist thing to just observe what's happening.
Goddamn socialist.
It's not a grand scheme. It's just that capitalists see, this is a trend, and if we reinforce this trend, we can make more money. Damned be the consequences.
Yep. Like the opioid crisis.
It's
I mean,
not
there's
an overwhelming,
Can I-
overarching plan. Go ahead.
Can I ask my question now?
Yeah.
Sunflower, have you ever heard of Kluver-Bucy syndrome?
I've heard of Dunning-Kruger syndrome. I think you have it. But no, I haven't though.
What? What a day.
I know.
I
know
love it
what
though. That's
Dunning-Kruger
great.
is, you idiot. Kluver-Bucy is a syndrome where part of your brain has been damaged, and part of the syndrome is that the person who has this brain damage is hypersexual. Hyper, as in has a hyperdrive for sex. So I want to know, in that instance where this guy or gal has Kluver-Bucy syndrome, how the fuck is it a choice?
What? What kind of, that was the most
in that situation, if the person was to get pregnant.
I can't even answer a question that's so poorly worded and misdirected and misguided and outright.
I can't answer a question that's
doesn't make any fucking sense. What is can you rephrase that in a way that makes sense?
Kluver-Bucy syndrome.
Go ask your mom, dude.
It is a syndrome that causes, among other things, hypersexuality. How is it then that somebody who has Kluver-Bucy syndrome and they are hypersexual, how is sex a fucking choice for that person?
Contraception. Just tell them to have sex, but be safe.
Well, what if they do though?
Then there's no problem. What's the problem here?
I don't know. I'm not the one that asked.
Well,
you the
sometimes
question.
contraception doesn't always work, right?
Yeah, I mean, according to a Christian worldview, like your Sunflower, literally, there's absolutely nothing you can do to prevent. Like even abstinence doesn't prevent pregnancy because Mary.
Yeah, and most of you Christian idiots don't even want contraception to be available. So
Well, yeah, real quick. Thank you, James Hogue, $10 tip. He said this was a great stream, despite Sunflower's logic. So, thank you, James Hogue.
I'm really the most logical and rational person on this channel.
Are you?
Are
you?
Okay, so I have a question.
Did your dad teach you the logic like Matt Powell?
Well, here's what I'll say. The craziest thing I've learned in my time on the internet is that it doesn't matter how right you are. It only matters how charismatic you are. And that's not a new point. I'm not the first one to say it. But it's crazy when you say something that is true and you hear someone like Puff respond and it's just ramblings of a madman. And then
you've got like this particular hard on for Puff tonight. So do you like braids?
Hey, I was just
No,
gonna say,
there's only 3 of us.
I have
well,
a question. Do you think that it's would you support, or do you think it's okay that if someone had the ability to do something to combat a medical condition that they have, right? Say not necessarily as serious as abortion, right? But you consider being pregnant a medical condition, right? Because it could affect your life. And they did something to address that medical condition, and then, say people were to mock them for it, or make them the point of jokes about it, right? Would you support that person?
The person making fun of them?
Yeah.
No.
So why are you making fun of me for how I address and deal with my trichotillomania?
Your what?
I have trichotillomania.
What is that?
It's a condition where I
Sunflower's so fucking white. It's
pull my hair out.
Christ.
I just have to say,
I can't have access to it.
I never say anything about you pulling it.
I just have to say, I wish
You
I
made
had.
fun of me with my appearance.
I wish I
right?
had Puff's hair. I really.
Not your
I
hair
just.
line.
Dude,
I never once
have
rubbed it on your hair.
I do this with my the reason my appearance is like this is because
I want some of your hair.
my wife wants me to grow my hair out, but because I have a medical condition where I will pluck my hair until I have huge bald spots on my head. The only way I can deal with and address my medical condition is to have my hair braided down so I don't have access to it.
Okay, understood. I won't comment on that again. Thanks for.
But no, I just let you walk into that because just the same situation is going on with these Christians all over the place. People have medical conditions they don't want to talk about or even bring up, but they just want to deal with them.
That's just not true in every case. I mean, let me ask you a question.
But it's not true in every case. Not every white boy out here that's got their hair braided.
Every single case. Every single case of like.
But I let you walk into it just like we let these Christians walk into shit because sometimes people have medical reasons. Sometimes it's a choice. But guess what? Unless you force them to fucking wait a second. Unless you force them to bear their fucking soul or to bear their fucking cross, you won't know. And all we're saying is make it fucking available to them and don't ask questions. Don't pry.
Okay, but every time someone drops a racial slur or an offensive, homophobic thing, maybe they have Tourette's. You better be careful. They might have a medical condition. Don't chastise them. Don't chastise them.
Oh my god, that is the worst analogy I've ever heard.
Perfect analogy. It's a perfect. It's
Sunflower, my nigga. That's terrible.
People know when people have Tourette's, you fucking moron.
The first time they experience it?
Yes.
Oh, they have facial tics and all kinds of
If I'm in the supermarket and someone behind me in line drops a curse word, I know they have Tourette's by default immediately.
Well,
but you're gonna know when you turn around and they're like,
what if the video goes viral and by the time people find out Tourette's, I've already been fired?
But if somebody's got Tourette's in a store, they're not like talking to somebody. They're just
that's a dumbass take.
Piss ass.
No,
like,
yes,
you're gonna be able to
there's a
tell they
video
have Tourette's.
of a mentally ill, like blonde woman who was like screaming at people like fire and brimstone. You're gonna burn in hell. Like it was viral. You can look it up. She was in a supermarket harassing customers.
Yeah, no, she was high as fuck on drugs, dude.
Oh, okay, but wait, it's too late now. The majority of people that saw that already think she's just a bitch, and they canceled her. So
Actually, no. Most people just thought it was really funny because she was that fucking tweaked out and went into a store.
Well, okay.
Freaking about
I'd say good luck
to live that lifestyle. We're like, that's so sad to see people, I used to live in a neighborhood where I saw that happen. I lived in Las Vegas during the meth epidemic. And I'm telling you, to see that shit is sad. When I saw what that lady was going through at the same time that I was like, man, this is just terrible. I felt so fucking like I wish I could have helped her.
Well, dude, my
city, I thought it was funny.
My city's went through a meth epidemic for about the last 12 to 13 years.
My whole state's
I can't
gone through a meth epidemic.
I used to be a bad person. I used to sell, so like I used to use it as a weapon.
Yeah.
Like literally,
I'm trying to fucking save you.
I have literally sold every drug known to man except for like DMT. I don't think I ever.
Well, then you would understand, Wayne. You understand that.
I only sold X.
When I was in school and I used to have rich kids fucking with me and shit like that, and I would tell them straight up, look, man, I'm not even gonna beat your ass. I'm not gonna run through you or nothing. I'm just gonna go to your house and I'm gonna introduce your dad to meth. Your house is gonna be fucking nothing but drywall in about a month.
So I'm saying, like, I was literally a fucking drug dealer when I was like a Christian. Like, I believed in Jesus and all of that shit. Like, I've never been a drug dealer as an atheist. I'm just putting that out there. Personal experience. You know, I give Christians personal experience all the goddamn time. I actually get credit from it from a lot of theists. But at the same time, like, my personal experience is, hey, I was a Christian. I was a pretty shitty fucking dude. I was a racist. I was a homophobe. I sold fucking crack cocaine at one point of being a Christian. You know what I haven't done since I became an atheist? Sold crack cocaine.
Sunflower.
Rage, you're just trying to bring them to God quicker.
Yeah,
Lisa's trying to ask a question. Lisa's trying to ask a question.
I want to know why you can't answer simple questions.
You're pulling an Otangelo.
You have not answered one fucking simple question.
I apologize.
This whole time.
Okay, the Busey one, right? Is that based on Gary Busey or no?
Fuck me, Shannon.
Oh, Snowflake.
So I understand.
Oh my god!
The only thing I could tease out from that question was, how is it a choice for a person with a brain, like basically a neurological disorder that makes them hypersexual? How is it a choice for them when they have inevitably sex?
Nigga, she literally said it's not a choice. I'm pretty sure I heard her say it's not a choice.
I'm answering. What do you mean? And yeah, my answer to that was the sexual. The being sexually active isn't the choice, but what about the failure to use protection? How do you justify that by being hypersexual? I don't see those.
What if you just need sex so bad that you just do it? You don't give a shit about anything else.
That's a really interesting case study.
About putting your dick in some pussy.
You know what? That's an interesting case study. And if there was an example where someone was making that case, I would have to examine it. And there's a hypothetical person. Maybe I would say, look, this person actually seemed like they literally were so driven by their sexual desire that they couldn't even.
Have you ever met somebody so hungry they didn't even chew their food, Sunflower?
Yes. Have you ever met someone so hungry that they chewed glass?
Yeah, I've met people that are so hungry they ate shit I would never eat.
Well, okay.
Same basic principle.
No, it's not, because at one point,
it kind of is. You don't give a shit about any fucking thing else. You just want sex. That's it. I don't give a fuck if there's a rubber on my dick or not. I'm putting it in some pussy. It's happening.
You need to become a porn star.
It is a real disease, and you need to look it up.
No, but okay. I'm not even saying it's not a real disease. I'm asking you, do the people that have this disease or disorder, do they just never use protection, or do some of them do?
Oh my god, dude! It's like asking somebody that's starving, do they actually chew their food or just swallow it? A lot of times, honestly, these people just really don't chew their food. That's so fucking. It's an instinctual thing. They're so fucking hungry that chewing their food is an afterthought. They don't care. They just want to eat. Yeah, and these people, they don't give a shit about protection, dude. They just want to fuck.
Have you ever even really had sex though? Like, not you, Leo. I'm talking to Sunflower.
I'm not going to comment on that.
Oh, I was going to say no, I haven't.
Well, I'm going to say like just more than just like climbing on top of her doing your 2-minute thing. I mean, like, have you gotten freaky with it?
Hey
yet?
man,
You know,
how are you
I'm
going
just
to
saying.
anthropomorphize the couch?
Because if
in
you
a
haven't
bottle
gotten
of
freaky with it,
how you going to call that a her?
I mean, when you're getting freaky with it, shit happens, and sometimes like that nut just go right, like it just go, and you're like, fuck.
Have you ever been getting head and a chick shoves her finger up your butt and like you weren't even trying to, like it just came out, like it just happened.
Damn, Leo, what you been doing?
Leo apparently has been getting domed by medical students.
Any semblance of a point that Lisa had has been derailed by grotesque graphic humor.
But there was a point to what I was saying.
Well, Snowflake, have you had sex?
Snowflake.
If you think I'm going to answer that question, you're obviously mentally retarded.
Well, then you proved my point, bro. Thank you, Snowflake.
Because the thing is,
so like, you're in a room of fucking.
Hey, Red Fang, have you ever had a social security number starting with 642?
If you accidentally impregnated an atheist
I'm not
woman,
going to answer fucking dumbass questions like that.
I'm sorry, like even if Sunflower hasn't had sex, I would not give him shit.
You know,
for that.
I kid with Sunflower.
People are like, you do you. Some people literally don't like sex.
I give Sunflower a hard time, but I do appreciate that he comes on and argues. But yeah, the thing about Sunflower is he comes on and he argues stupid shit, and it makes me laugh most of the time because like
And it
we
can't
have
be
literally talked abortion for 2 hours now, and we haven't gotten anywhere outside of like lame sex jokes. So
And he
all I've done is answer questions. I haven't even tried to further this conversation at all into abortion. I just literally
and he
dude,
can't
you literally came in
answer
talking
simple
about abortion.
no, I didn't. I came in and John said,
It's
Sunflower, you
always
asked-
John's fault. You know, John is just such a
He asked me.
goddamn worst. He's like the worst human being ever.
Did you
Always
do you
takes
want-
bait,
again,
always.
This is what I was talking about.
But, happy birthday, man.
It
I
doesn't
know you
matter
said
how
it.
right you are, and people just say what they want to fucking say. Go back and rewind it. I was asked the question, Sunflower, why did you make this specific remark? And then I
Well,
answered
yeah,
it.
you got triggered in side chat, went off
It
about
got buried in
abortion,
the side chat.
and John asked
Well,
you
like
a fucking
always.
question.
It was buried in the side chat before, and no one. even
Why
gave it a
do
second
Christians
thought.
always get so triggered about fucking abortion? Like, why are you guys so hung up on this shit?
The real question is, why are you so persistent on trying to like make something of nothing? You're making a mountain out of a molehill. That's what you're doing.
No,
You're
not
making a mountain
really.
out of a molehill.
No,
I'm down
that's
to talk
what
about
Christians
communism.
do.
We can talk about
Like, can you imagine? I'm just gonna say, like we are. So if you look at the numbers, right? So currently, our demographic is we actually start needing people to reproduce a bit more. I'm going to totally grant you that. When you're talking to American numbers, it varies across the world about, you know, what the reproduction rate should be. And you know, you mix that with the amount of immigration coming in. That's why, like, this whole immigration argument, it's like the great nations always allow immigration because you understand fundamentally that produces new birth. And if you want new
immigration
birth,
is what made America
yeah,
great.
if you want new birth, you need diversity in that, right? So these things are very, very, very complicated. But if you actually look at, all right, so say we had allowed abortion to remain illegal in the course of time that it has been legalized, and it wasn't always illegal in this country. It was a fairly brief period in the history of the country that abortion was actually illegal. So if you look at that, the rate of population expansion of America would be completely fucking astronomical. And any conversation about restoring the rights of my people, the Native Americans, would be out the fucking question because we would be so overpopulated, there wouldn't be any question about it. Right now, what we need to do is restore the ancestral rights of my people. That's my main cause. And I don't know if anybody's been blind to that, but that's my main fucking cause. So until that happens, I'm not happy. And so, yeah, I'm all for abortion. Keep the population low.
Hither, here.
And
Silence. I love it. I love it when silence happens after a fucking point nobody ever expected.
I just want to say something. I've made this point before. I'll make it again. And Sunflower, who's going to take care of those babies after they're born? You're not.
Are you
Like, that's their-
addressing me or a straw man named Sunflower? Because I never tried to argue for that.
It's irrelevant.
Oh, calm
She
down,
was
Snowflake.
Dude,
Come on.
dude, my nigga,
Calm
my
down.
nigga, my nigga, my nigga,
Calm
my
down.
nigga. She was asking an off-the-wall question. Just
Oh,
answer.
well, I don't know why you're asking me that because I don't want abortion to be outlawed.
But because she wants to know your answer, particularly.
Oh, so you're literally asking
I'm
me, like,
allowing that because Leo is Leo, and just look at him. That,
Dude,
you
okay,
understand.
like there's only two other people in this
Unaborted
room I'd
baby?
accept it from, and that's Puff and Knock, because I know they probably use
Yeah,
that word.
I'm totally
I would
fine
have
with
no
you, dog.
problem. I don't think it would be an issue, but I'll let them do that.
I and we've had that discussion here before, and no, so I'm just totally fucking with you, Leo, because exactly, you know, I love it. Honestly, I really do, because you know we started this whole stream with that shit, and if you haven't seen the beginning of the stream, you should. We looked at the Twisted Tea incident, so.
Oh, he deserved that. He totally deserved
Yeah, no, in that instance, he was using it to try to rile the dude up. Obviously, I think we all know that.
He 100% deserved that. Like that Twisted Tea was divinely smacked into that man's face, as far as I'm concerned.
Dude, I thought it was pretty fucking classic. I have a smile right now, you know. So and they're like, "Oh, knock is promoting violence." I'm totally anti-violence, but just as I told Smokey, if you're gonna use the word, be ready for the consequences. So,
Yeah,
Oh man,
also usually
Smokey, I would love to hear Smokey use that word just so I can like hunt him down and just deck him with my ring hand.
I mean, that's the whole like baseball bat thing is because the race conversation. He was like, I should be able to use that word. I'm like, you can use that word. I'm totally for freedom of speech. Use it all you want.
But when you get your ass kicked,
yeah, I mean, you're gonna pay the
Right.
ramifications. And it might not even be violence. It might not even be violence. It could be a lefty totally canceling you, getting you fired from your fucking job. I mean, that's the choice you're making, being a douchebag fucking racist, and you deserve all of it. So
it's Smokey.
Well, I was going to ask you a question, Rage. You're pacifist now, or nonviolence and all this, that, and the other, right? And
nonviolence,
right?
unless somebody trying to hurt my kid. If somebody trying to hurt my kid, I'm gonna kill a motherfucker.
I know based on your past before that, you were not always that way.
Oh no, I was very violent. Very violent.
So
weird now.
How did you finally get the switch to turn on? Because I've been that way for a long time. I've been trying to avoid confrontation. I've been always trying to step away. But when people really push me and they push me and push me and push me, I go like
isolationism, honestly.
And I go back to the streets, man.
Honestly, dude,
I hear you. The best thing to do is isolate yourself.
Yeah, I don't go around humans unless I'm working or unless I absolutely have to, because I mean, like, there's been one real human being that's never pushed me to that point. That's my kid, so I'm safe around
my
her.
wife never does. But what I'm saying is like, by just being part of society, right? I get into situations where people do stuff and. Then like I try to be like diplomatic about it, but my wife's from the South, man. She's not for that. Like she expects her man to be a man, right? So like I'm like, all right, go step in, and then he like tries to step it up.
What is a fucking man, right? Like what is a man?
And the thing was, I don't know about you, right? But when I was growing up in Vegas, when it changed for me was when my brother was like, look, the way that you win a contest of wills is that you up the level of violence to where the person that you're contending with is unwilling to reciprocate.
Yeah, well, and that's like I'm gonna go to a book here, right? So Orson Scott Card's Ender's Game. Ender had that moment and very young in life, and his ultimate resource is if you want to stop a bully, you have to not only stop the bully but stop the bullying after. And the only way you do that is with very, very extreme violence. So, instead of just putting the bully down, you not only put the bully down, but then you pretty much obliterate him and any essence of somebody coming after you. Any retribution? Nope, I'm not fucking with that dude. And honestly, anybody that's ever entered into the prison system, if you're smart, that's the approach that you take. Right. So when I entered into the prison system, I went fucking psycho. I went fucking crazy, and I just hurt people, and I enjoyed it. I honestly did. I've never hid from that fact. I really, really enjoyed it. It's very addictive. I don't recommend it on anybody. I really don't.
Let's be
honest. That's the other part I was gonna say.
There are just
because I got wrapped up in it. It went to my head that I could fucking I could
very
really
addictive.
Sweat folks, and motherfuckers was scared of me for a minute.
It
went
is
to my
the
head
true
first.
power, Puff. Like when you're talking about violence, it's the true power, right? So people
History shows that though.
Yeah. I mean, people have personified power, but if you're willing to use violence, that is power, and it is very addictive. Very.
Because that's what I'm saying. Like I tried to when I left Vegas and went to Georgia the first time, dude, I switched my whole life around. I tried to just walk away from my past, and now I'm very calm, dude, and I'm chill and everything. Like John Petersen, he's like, "Oh, you're a calm dude, you're chill." Well, he hasn't been in public with me when somebody made the wrong move. And
I'm very calm until I'm not. That's always my issue. Like
Puff, do you have a Twitter?
The moment I'm not calm,
yes, I do.
It's fucking
Puff the bong.
it's
Okay.
like I fear myself sometimes because if I'm not calm,
I can sympathize
you
with
know,
that.
it's like Marvel's Hulk, right? Like that's me. That's fucking me. Like if I don't have a complete 100% reign on my anger, it will get out of control. It's always been that way, and that's why like I'm the raging atheist for a reason. I have rage, and I always have, and I've had to keep a really tight rein on it. And sometimes I've lost rein on it. I mean, it's happened a few times in my life.
That's
Very,
what
very
I'm saying.
scary.
Well, more than a few times it's happened, and it's like it's a recurring thing, bro. I like try to be so chill and everything, but it's just that like I've not gotten past that point yet where like when I move to a new city, first thing I do is I find contacts in the hood because I'm sorry, man. I'm of that mentality where I'm gonna run into some goons somewhere, man. And if I don't know somebody, my life is on the line,
Dude,
man.
I got out of the life, man. I really did. I really like when they say like remove
No,
yourself from
you know what I
old
mean,
playgrounds. Like I took that as like word, and
What I
like
mean, though, is,
even
like,
people
when you
like in my family that I just know like I can't go around those people. It will trigger me. I don't go around. I stay isolated. People are like, why are you
right.
online
Well,
all the
what I'm saying
goddamn
is
time?
like
It's because
when you
that's
live in
my
the
therapy,
right? What I'm saying is like I'm at that point where I have to live in the inner city. Like I have to live in the city, right? So I might be at Dollar General shopping, and then I can't avoid it, right? So like sometimes I get put in those situations, and I can't shut it off, bro. Like when they really do push me to that point, right? And they're like, oh, like I'm just trying to act like invisible, and they're like, oh, I'm fitting to sweat the white boy now. I'm like, oh man, dude, like it's
I mean, it
The white
comes,
boy.
man. Like
Wow.
I'm just gonna say, like it comes to each of us in our own time. There are some times when I can be extremely patient and very, very patient with people. And then there's times when, if my code dictates to me that a line has been crossed, then I'm a different human being than I was before that line was crossed. My code has been proven to be wrong. So
Oh, I was gonna say
it's very unfortunate for me.
I was gonna say because you did not sound so non-violent if you were in arm's reach of Smokey Saint.
Well, before
Smokey's the bitch.
But before the whole like personal attacks on people, I would not have gotten violent with Smokey. Now, if Smokey were to show his face in front of me, I would be going to jail. Period. I mean, he would not be the same human being he was before because I would change him.
What are you talking about? He'd still be Sacha Baron Cohen's illegitimate son.
He wouldn't. He wouldn't. No, he'd be more like the dude from like. Do you remember the movie Mask?
Would he be Kramer's illegitimate son now?
No. Do you remember the movie Mask?
Oh my goodness.
That's how he looked. That's how he fucking looked. No, like I can't remember his name, but Cher was in the movie. Sam Elliott was in the movie. Dude had the really fucked up face, right?
Elephant Man.
Yeah. That's what Smokey would look like.
Oh wait, I think I might know what you're talking about.
You know what? I have issues with the mother of my daughter. Those are mine. You don't talk about her.
You want to know what you do when somebody says
don't.
something that really pisses you off? You maniacally laugh. I have found that to be a fairly strong deterrent.
Yeah, I mean, nobody gets to talk about her but me, right? So nobody. Because nobody knows her or the situation. And honestly, I'm biased in that situation. I'm biased. I have an opinion. I have a very factual opinion based on that person. I've loved her. I've loved her for a very long time. A very long time of my life was devoted to love to the daughter of my mother. You don't get to talk about her. You know what I'm saying? Or not you, Puff, but like Smokey.
Go ahead, Lisa.
I got a question for everyone. Does anybody else notice that Sunflower seems to be the only one who triggers me?
No, that's not true.
No,
you get
yeah.
super triggered by El Tangelo too.
Yeah,
Messenger reveal
and even
triggered
worse
you
by
pretty
people
good.
are just like the worst insidious people. You get triggered by insidious assholes. And
Sunflower.
that's a character trait. That's not a flaw.
Sunflower doesn't trigger me. Sunflower thinks he's smarter than he is. And he
that's for sure.
That's a fact.
Talking about he's the most logical person in this room. The dude didn't even know what Cleaver-Busey syndrome was.
The thing with that is when he said that,
honestly.
like when everybody mentions like something that has to do with logic, the first question I asked them, I'm like, you know your logic, huh? Oh yeah, I'm always like, what's a modal operator? What? What's a modal operator? And then they dance around the question because you can't answer it.
And thank you for reminding me about Messenger, Puff. Yeah. But Messenger triggers me for a different reason.
Well, that's his goal, but
yeah,
I wish I could have seen his face. I wish he would show his face because his face, like it was cool that I saw that Leo knew what I was talking about when I said trichotillomania, right? He knew what that was. And he was like, "Oh, makes total sense that he has his hair in braids. I can see why now, right?" Like it was like all the light bills went on, right?
Yeah, I totally know what trichotillomania.
You know what
I
it is
wish
too,
I could
right?
have
But
braids.
it's like,
I fucking wish I could have braids. I got male
I
pattern
could, but I wouldn't
baldness.
be good with it.
Like I had to look like a skinhead. You know, I have to look like a skinhead because I don't have hair.
well, no, I have to blame it on my hair because if I don't, then you would know just how gigantic my dome is, right? Like I have to wear a 7 and like 7/8 or an 8 for a hat. Like I have
I wish I had a
gigantic
big head. My head is tiny. Oh shit, my head is tiny. I wish it was bigger. I wish I had a head that was a little too
drive
big.
Japanese, little tiny Japanese cars though, so a big head and Japanese car are not a good thing, man.
You look like Mr. Incredible, just
Well, see, the thing is, in the 11 serious car accidents I've been in my lifetime, what usually happens is my head ping pongs around because it's not restrained enough by the seatbelt, so it ping pongs around and hits shit, and then the next day after, feeling tore up. But I've been in a lot of car accidents. I've been tore up before, but no. I have this giant head, and that's why I wear my hair like this. But my wife saw a picture of me in middle school, and she was like, "What? You used to have hair to your shoulders?" I was like, "It was longer than that." And she wanted me to grow my hair out. I'm going to do whatever it takes to make my wife happy, and so that's what I have to do. But I have this
Man,
condition.
I wish I could say that. I would do whatever the motherfucker took to make Amelia Clark happy.
Well, the thing is, though, I found out though, a good marriage, you don't marry someone and have a good marriage. Like you gotta build a good marriage from like the baseboards, man. We had to lay the foundation. We had to build this marriage. But I also think, like, man, we got set up for a kind of fucked up start because I didn't know nothing about being married. I didn't know nothing about how to treat a lady when I got married. And what the preacher told me and my wife when we were doing our premarital counseling, it's against God's rules to withhold for any reason.
That's kind of fucked.
That's like, and I'm like, it took me a long time to become a man after that. Like, it was like, if I looked at myself back then, dude, I don't even think I was a man. Like that was like the religious aspect of it set me up for like not be right to my wife for many years, man. That's just the truth.
Yeah, I forget who said it, but somebody said, good men do good things and bad men do bad things. But in order for good men to do bad things, that takes.
Yep, I think that's really true.
There is an echo, right?
Yeah, and it's because we're at 11 o'clock. It's time for me to close the stream. I'll have to leave, but you guys feel free to hang out after and talk. But I promised my daughter 11 o'clock I was going to stop streaming so I could hang out with her. So, yep, I shared the screen real quick just so you guys could hear my outro music as we close this out. Thank you, everybody.
Better be a fucking slapper.
Well, it's it's my Patreon for my patrons. But thank you everybody for joining Sunflower. Thank you for coming in and being Sunflower. Thank you Otangelo, all the Christians that came in. We need more Christians in here. Yeah, go ahead, Leo.
I just wanted to say we call Otangelo, look at him go. Because a couple times in Speed Stream this past week and weekend, he and twice when we asked him. So I asked him a question about if science can't explain something, is it just unexplained, or are you capable of just putting whatever explanation you want there? And he left the room when we pressed him to answer it. And the second time he presented a paper, and John was there, John Petersen. And he said that, well, the odds of life being found anywhere other than Earth is this percentage. And he quoted the paper, but the paper didn't actually say that at all. And like 4 of us pointed it out. And some guy, Manny Karen, who comes on Steve's channel, pointed out and said, well, so are you going to admit that you're wrong? And then he literally just left. So we call him Otangelo. Look at him go.
Yeah, and I noticed, like, because people were asking Otangelo a very specific question, and he didn't really talk about it when he came on.
Tonight?
Yeah, tonight. Like, he
What
came
was
on.
it?
I can't remember. I really can't.
Fuck.
Yeah, if John was here, he could spit it out. But, like, I was doing my, like, I think I was producing at the time. I was backstage or some shit.
Yeah.
Oh, he was spouting some Shroud turns, but
yeah. So, I mean, I enjoy Otangelo as well. So.
Oh, Shroud Turin. Yeah, I heard. Okay, yeah.
So we are gonna get out of here. Thank you guys so much. John Petersen. I know you're sleeping, you boomer fuck. Have a happy birthday. Thank you.
Say something?
Huh? You're muted.
You're muted, Puff.
I'm saying wrap it up. Roll the music.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying.
He's
I'm
like
trying.
hear these beats.
I'm trying. But I had one other thing to say and I can't remember it. So fuck it. Oh yeah, like sometime tomorrow morning, probably early, we'll finish with the whole Kent Hovind and Matt Powell thing. So that being said, y'all have a good night. Patrons, that's what it was. Patrons. There's like 1 or 2 new patrons right after I made my new slides. So yeah, I'll be updating shit. Thank you guys. Y'all have a good night.
Perfect.